Hey guys, before the video starts, I want to say a couple things. Number one, if you're here to just check the tier list at the end of the video, there's a timestamp labeled finale in the description. Just know that between the 5 of us, no one was 100% happy with the final list because we all made concessions with each other, so if you disagree with our picks, we do as well in some sense. Number 2, there are spoilers in this video for most of the games in the franchise, but not for Three Houses due to it being the most recent, so proceed with your own discretion. And lastly, none of us claim to be Fire Emblem experts or anything like that, but we are all very passionate fans and have been for a very long time. That being said, our discussions and positions are just our opinions. Alright, that's it. Thanks, and I hope you enjoy. What's up guys, SpeedyHawk here. Today we're doing something a little bit different. And it's going to be a little bit controversial. I'm joined by 4 other prominent Fire Emblem YouTubers, and we are tasked with making a tier list between the 5 of us that we can all somewhat agree on. I know it's not really possible, but we're going to try our best. You know, all of us are kind of reasonable, I think. Right, guys?
No.
Not really.
No.
Alright, good enough.
We're all going to lose subscribers over this. Heads up, guys.
It's possible.
I'm down.
Alright, so I'm just going to introduce everybody one by one, starting with LinkKing7.
Hi.
Say hello.
Hello. I like Arvis, and I make videos on YouTube about Fire Emblem and stuff like that. So that's it, really.
He's also classified as an elitist, I would say.
No, come on.
You've been playing the games longer than anybody, I think. Right?
I don't know. I guess 2003 when Fire Emblem 7 came out. That was
well.
My first
still
one.
use game facts, so that's that's pretty elitist to me. That's the defining format of an elitist is the game facts message boards.
All right, let's move on. JaeAIK is here to join us too.
Hello.
Thank you, Jay, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I don't know what else to say.
That's fine. This is really informal. It's fine.
Cool.
All right, I'll just move on. Bismix here. He's.
How many intros do I have to go through? Like, I don't have anything. I don't have any material.
All right, and Chaz is here. Wow.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy Choopi back in the clack with another extreme video
tier list.
Hey, listen, man.
Hey.
All right. If you're an FE-tuber and I didn't reach out to you to make this tier list, it's because I don't really like you. So fuck you, Naji. All right. Just some ground rules to cover. Not all of us have played every game on this list. So if
I have,
I know it seems sketch, but if that's the case, then we're gonna defer to the people who have played the game to adjust the tier list properly. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds fair. We have subbed in the original 1, 2, and 3 games in the Fire Emblem series with the remakes.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I asked you today if you were okay with it, and you didn't respond, so... I mean, I have it... If you guys really want to count them, I have the images.
No,
Okay, good. Put them on.
How about we just discuss it when we get
Wait.
to
No,
Okay.
no. Just put Shadow Dragon in D tier for Dungeons and Dragons. All right. Job well done.
They're at the bottom of the thing. It's fine. Okay, so we'll decide if we count the originals.
Right.
I don't know. I've never played Mystery of the Emblem, so I have no idea.
Oh, you're missing out.
I think it's better than 12.
on nothing. You're missing out on nothing.
What? All right. Well.
Okay.
cross my bridge
Also, we're counting Conquest, Birthright, and Revelations as 3 separate entries in the tier list. Because Conquest is way better than the other ones, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's fair.
it is.
Well,
All right.
I haven't played any of the other ones, but
that's all you need.
I heard their shit. Okay, I think we could just start, right? We're just here to make a tier list between the 5 of us with our 5 brains. So there's no real strategy to this. Feel free to speak up.
we're not even gonna go through.
You want to just go through in order?
Yeah, let's go through.
Because here's the thing, it's to me, it's pretty obvious that Sacred Stone should be D.
What?
Or even F, if possible.
Ooh,
I disagree with
disagree.
Do you,
We're gonna
Chaz? Do you
fight.
honestly think Sacred Stones is the worst game in the series?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Really?
We made a video about it.
I made a. I
He
didn't even,
said it was a
wasn't
bad game.
Well, I'm gonna say I said that just to be like objective.
No,
but
no,
really,
no.
that's not. That's not, and like seem reasonable to a
Really,
degree. That's not how I
though?
feel. That game sucks. So
I think Sacred Stones is at least C.
I was gonna say B. It's mediocre.
yeah.
Wait, I thought B was average.
Yeah, mediocre means average.
even if it didn't have like if I, you know me, even if it was a linear game, I'd say story-wise, it's really
Story.
pretty bad.
Well, I don't think.
Honestly, it's like really generic. It's like Magvel is like there's nothing really going on. It's like the music. I'd say the music is probably the worst soundtrack.
What? Nah. I gotta fight you on that. I gotta fight you on that. I gotta fight you.
So.
We gotta fight. You'd win, but
Wait,
Okay.
Comrades is great. It's a great recruitment theme. What are you talking about, man?
Yeah, well, here we go. We got one. I don't know. I don't think so. I think there's every other recruitment.
Okay,
team.
Chaz, let me make a case for this. Okay.
Okay.
It was the first game, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, to actually have class like trees. Everything before
well,
had like
you
linear
sort of-
classes,
Yeah.
like promotions. right?
guys, what about?
I thought that was
What
pretty
about
cool.
trainee units, guys? Remember trainee? Remember? So what's his name? Axe Boy. Ross.
Ross.
Remember Ross? Remember Amelia? Remember
Okay.
Ewan?
Enough about remembering.
Oh, okay.
Listen, it was adventurous with the class system. It had replay value with 2 branching paths that were completely different.
That's true.
That's not replay value.
The story
That's-
may have been bad, but it's
Story's
a
bad.
solid game. The map design's actually pretty good, even if the game's like known for being easy.
No, the map design is really good. It's just map design isn't going to save a game that's mechanically broken. I think.
If you're gonna say this game's mechanically broken, then you believe all the other GBA titles are mechanically broken.
No, because here's the thing. This game ranks you based on the end game tower that you have to do at the end. There's no ranking system based on your progression. It's all your end game over-leveled units that are grinded up to do that. So it promotes this whole thing that grind emblem, as we say. It gets further away from the strategy aspect of Fire Emblem and closer to it being an RPG, which I think
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
But are you really gonna like take a whole experience just by a ranking on the Tower of Volney?
I'm thinking
Like,
the
I had fun
whole
with this
entire
game.
game. The whole entire game. It's not even that. It's like I'm obviously completely in the minority, but I think that literally every open map Fire Emblem should be D tier.
Oh my god. Okay, anyone else want to speak
No,
up?
I
'Cause
think-
That's the first
I
one.
think-
That's the first one that straight up It wasn't an experiment like Gaiden was. It's a straight up like acceptance that let's make an RPG Fire Emblem and not a
Hey.
tactical game.
Hey, Chaz, guess what?
What?
It's optional.
Oh
Oh
god.
no!
Did you know you could heal Colm with Molder?
Yeah. It's all okay, that's all I'm gonna say about
Okay.
Sacred Stones.
Let me just
you
be
can put
a
it
little
wherever
bit
you want.
serious. I'm gonna come in here a little bit. So I like Sacred Stones. I don't think it deserves to be in D tier, despite, okay, maybe it has some issues with the ranking system and the gameplay and all that. I can agree with Chaz there, but I don't think you drop a game so far down there that is pretty vibrant. The characters are interesting. The story
Yeah.
is decent. Like, even if it didn't completely nail it with the story, I think the fact that, also we should probably put like major spoilers at the beginning of this video, but the fact that they attempted to have 2 different forms of Leon, depending on which path you went down, even if the execution wasn't great, I personally don't like Leon that much as a character, but the fact that they tried that and they tried to make somewhat of a sympathetic villain is nice. It's good. It's someone that you're familiar with throughout the story who gets flashbacks and is related to the characters, and you see them really escalate. Even if the other characters don't go anywhere aside from some of the support conversations, just having that dynamic is pretty cool. Also, I will say this to this day, I swear by it, Sacred Stones has probably the best cast of villains in the entire series.
I think it has one of the best cast of characters, in my personal opinion.
I think, yeah, it does have one of the strongest cast of characters, but fuck characters.
Like,
God damn it,
like I
Chaz.
think I definitely do agree with Chaz when it comes to like the story. I don't think it's that good. Like it's a very traditional Fire Emblem game, but instead of a big ass dragon that you fight at the end, they replaced it with a big ass demon. But I think what really carries the story personally for Sacred Stones are kind of like the little interactions that the characters have with each other, especially with characters like Cormag, which is why he's a fan favorite, right? And even little things like Ephraim and Erica. Like Ephraim straight up comes in and says, "I don't pick fights that I can't win," and then he does pick a fight with Leon. I'm not calling him Leon. That's fucking stupid, by the way. It's Leon, okay? Fucking people who call Camus Camus. Okay, that's a totally different side rant. But anyways, I'm calling him Leon.
It's okay.
But
or our mods.
yeah, fucking.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna rip their throats out. But anyways,
It is our mods, so he says
like
it.
Ephraim straight up just says like, I don't pick fights that I can't win. But then he does pick a fight with Leon, and he loses that fight. You know what I'm saying? And that like that changes that, and then the journey after that becomes like his character arc with him kind of accepting like how to become a king, right? Like, because he loses the fight, and then he goes back to his kingdom a loser, right? And then he learns to accept that loss to become a better person. And I think it's like very subtle storytelling, but it's like the little things like that that makes me really appreciate Sacred Stones a lot.
Okay.
Okay.
I see you.
Yeah, inspiring. I'll say.
Oh my god.
I just think it's fun to play. Like, I don't know. I've never had a bad time with Sacred Stones.
I can rarely finish a game with Sacred Stones. Honestly.
Wow.
Really?
I get there. I think the last time I played it was for that Sacred Stones
The video.
And just because there was some person on my Discord who was like, you can't review a game that you haven't beaten. And I was like, okay, well.
Which is a fair
That's
point.
fair.
Nah, do you really need to review Superman 64 to know it's a bad game? Like, I don't. Do you need to beat all of Superman 64?
But that's like a fringe case because it's such a bad game.
Yeah, but do you need? Okay, so do you need to play all 4 routes of 3 houses to understand if it's a good or bad game?
No.
You need to
Yes.
play
I don't think so.
300 hours, 400 hours of a game.
So you're
that
saying you've played
you
Sacred
haven't-
Stones before, but you didn't finish it? That's what
No,
you're saying.
I didn't finish it. And then I played it for the whole game, and I finished
Okay.
it, and I was like, wow,
Gotcha.
that was a waste of my time.
Damn. Okay. So let's just leave it at B for now. We could argue about this later.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, it's okay.
Unless Bis, do you want to say anything about Sacred Stones?
Look, I don't play Fire Emblem games.
Okay.
No, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what to add. You guys have already kind of like, I mean, I guess like the one thing I guess I really liked about Sacred Stones is I know like Gaiden Echoes did it kind of first technically, but like the whole thing with like monsters and how they have like their own classes. Like you got the gargoyles, like you got like the wolves, you got the minotaurs, like all these new monsters to worry about. And
The spider. though.
unfortunately,
It did it.
I kind of didn't like how they made the
It did it better,
bishop.
for sure, I'll say.
They give-
than Gaiden.
They gave the bishop that like monster bane or whatever, and that kind of
Yeah.
trivializes the monsters later, which I kind of didn't like. But I thought that was kind of cool, you know. And I know again, Echoes Gaiden, you know, I know Sacred Stones took a lot from that game, but I like the separate paths. I thought that was kind of cool for replayability, I guess. Yeah, the Tower of Volney, you know, that's it. Yeah, that also sucks. It ruins the game, but it's
Does it
optional. It's
suck?
optional, you know.
Some people like it a lot. Some people play it just to like, you know, overclass and like be like have these monsters on the field. You can run
Yeah, but that
whoever
could
you
be
want.
fun though, right?
Yeah, of course it's fun. I'm not saying it's not fun to grind. Like,
I don't know. I always preferred using the arenas in Sacred Stone.
I mean, I used the tower because I wanted to be a completionist in that period between when Sacred Stones and Path of Radiance came out, and I just wanted to max all my units and all their supports. And so for me, that was kind of like a way to do it post game, and it just gave you something to do instead of having to redo the same maps over and over again. You can just go to post game and just max everything out.
And that's why Awakening should be A tier.
yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the next game. We'll leave Sacred Stones at B. Is that fair? I know
They're
Chaz
all
is gonna
gonna
say
they're
no.
all gonna be B.
It's
at
the
this
first-
Are they
point.
all gonna be
It's the-
B?
we'll see.
I
It's the
disagree.
first
They're-
one.
if we do this like this, where we just like make an amalgamation of our opinions,
We're all
everything is just
end
gonna
up-
be B.
We'll see.
Because Speedy does.
We'll see. We'll see. We gotta. What game should we do next,
Let's
guys?
talk about Revelations. D.
All right, let's get that one out of the way.
Yeah.
I never played it, but I'm gonna say D.
Let's just get that one out of the
I
way.
know.
because
I
that's
can
why-
agree. It's
Never played it.
okay. As Fates, I actually like the mechanics in Fates. I think it has an interesting combat system with the skills and stuff.
hmm
I also like the parrot mechanic way better in Fates than in Awakening. But Revelations, the story is just like pretty terrible.
I didn't like.
I think we could agree Fates doesn't
I
have
didn't
great
like
writing.
anything about Revelations, like at all.
I think Revelations took everything that was good about Conquest's gameplay and mechanics and made them shitty.
They just wanted money. Like the characters weren't, the supports weren't good. The maps sucked. The game, like it just nothing was fun.
Are the
story,
supports different?
there's no story. The story is non-existent. Like it just feels so forced. The final boss isn't even that climactic. Like it just felt like I guess you pick this route maybe if you want to get all the characters or something.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. If you want to mix and match supports and like child
But, like-
units, this was the game for you.
Yeah.
The campaign maps were extremely gimmicky, and they were just like downright annoying to play.
Like,
so I'm fine with putting Revelation in D.
Yeah, D tier.
I'm fine with putting Fates in D.
Okay, I disagree because I think Conquest is A, but we'll get to that.
I was thinking maybe we could put Birthright in S tier. No.
That's D. That's D tier.
Yeah. Birthright D too.
Yeah. Let's just do it.
Bust this out.
Let's just do it.
Is Birthright
yes,
a D, though?
open map games in D.
Birthright suffers from the same problems as Revelation.
It's better than Revelation.
I think they're equal. I think they equally suck.
Okay, but Speedy, it's like a less like a smaller pile of shit versus a bigger one. It's still shit.
Yeah,
right?
it's just you're basically counting how many peanuts are in a piece of poo at this point.
Exactly. Put it in D tier.
Guys, even if Birthright wasn't a linear Fire Emblem game, it did have some interesting maps, even though they were easier than Conquest.
But the problem is that it's like Sacred Stones in a way, where Ryoma just trivializes the entire game.
That's true.
That's true. Oh, but you're gonna piss off Chaz if you're gonna make that argument. If you're gonna make that argument. Sorry.
Wait.
No.
What are you gonna say about the argument?
I was gonna say if you're gonna make an argument that Ryoma trivializes the game, then FE4 deserves D tier.
No,
because Sigurd and Celeste just
he does. They don't trivialize the game. Yeah, they're really strong,
so.
But you need is all your units. I feel like
I used 3 units to beat the game.
I mean, we can talk about FE4 when we get to it. Every single unit. Every single unit has been able to solo FE4, so let's not get to that.
Okay.
Well, actually, if you think about it, Birthright should probably be S tier because it's the only game where Scarlet lives. I mean, like that's an important character. But
it's all right. I'll put it in D for now. Okay.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna put
where
it.
Is it? You hit it. You hit it.
I put it above.
Tucked it away so you couldn't see it.
Speedy, you can't do that. You can't do that, Speedy.
What, you think Revelations belongs above Birthright?
No, definitely
okay,
not.
so that's fine.
Revelations
is the lowest right now.
Oh, we're doing it left to right
okay.
too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you move Sacred Stones to like all the way to the right in B?
Can I start in Conquest?
Okay.
Because I want to get my rant out of the way, and then you guys can let's start low, and then we can So see, I'm gonna argue that Conquest goes in C tier. So, C for Conquest.
Okay.
Sure.
And I'll tell you why. And I'm just gonna break it down this way. The best thing about Conquest is the gameplay. I think we can all agree that the gameplay in Conquest is fantastic.
Yep. So much fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. I'm glad I can get that out of the way. The story's still bad. Not as bad, but still bad.
No,
the characters
it's so bad
are still.
That it's good.
Let me finish.
Sorry, go ahead.
Let Link talk. Let me finish, and then I'll say, go for it, guys. Yeah. So, the story is still bad. Probably not as bad, which is why it's in C tier. The music is the same.
It's good music.
The characters are the same and still as bad.
Okay.
And so like the only thing that's left, I guess the visuals are also the same. Yeah. So the only thing that's really, you're getting an upgrade over Awakening and Birthright, Revelations and Birthright, is the gameplay. Yes, it's good. Yes, it's fantastic if you cut everything else out, but is it really enough to make it jump so many different tiers? Personally, I don't really think so, which is why I would rank it higher, but I wouldn't rank it too much. Yep. If you want to take it up to B, I can accept that too, but I really wouldn't go much higher with a B on Conquest.
Yep, I think it's a C tier game personally for me too.
Just for the I agree. Link mentioned. Overall, I really just didn't enjoy Fates. Like Conquest was my favorite. A lot of people say that, but like,
yeah, I think we can all agree Conquest is the best of the 3, right?
Yeah, sure.
My favorite.
The map design. Well, what you're getting is I can't compare to the other two, but the map design in Conquest is some of the best ever.
Good.
The difficulty curve is just perfect. Really, really difficult for me. Playing on hard was one of the most difficult. More difficult. I've said this before. More difficult than Thracia. More difficult than Radiant Dawn hard. More difficult for me. It was maybe it's because I couldn't wrap my head around.
Radiant Dawn hard is no joke.
Skill emblem.
Yeah, but I seriously had more of a harder time with it in a good way.
Oh,
what ties it down for me? A great presentation, great music, great. I like if you don't take the characters seriously, I like the character. I loved the characters, and I liked Elise a lot. I liked Takumi, and I like
I don't
Leo.
Like
I like Takumi.
No.
And what's it called?
I love Nor way better than Hoshido.
I like the girls in Nor too. But the thing is that ties it down for me. I actually think this game should be considered open map because of all the stupid online
My Castle stuff.
My Castle content that's thrown at you that turns this fucking game that could be amazing. And I think the difficulty is so hard because the game pushes you to use this DLC content, to use this overclassing content, and it turns this game that had like concrete mechanics into an open map grind fest.
This is where I'm going to disagree actually, because DLC came after the game.
But it's not just DLC. It's like all the My Castle stuff. It's
Street Pass.
It's people getting upset that an iron sword plus 5 is more effective than a silver sword.
But in Conquest specifically though, you can only get EXP once from those extra maps. And then after that, you can't farm the map. The only thing you can farm.
Which extra maps though?
Like the Awakening map, whatever. The
the one with the pebble. Is that what you're talking about? I was talking more like the castle sieges. The castle sieges, you can only do once, I believe.
I was talking about paralogs and everything.
Oh, paralogs. Okay. I see.
Well, paralogs you can consider like chapter 16X in Fire Emblem 7, right?
Yeah, it's like Gaiden chapters.
Yeah.
The thing is, the problem with it is that what it sort of coheres, like what it pushes players' decision making. The fact that you have this map that's actually so difficult that either requires you to be incredibly strategic or over level to get a unit that's under leveled. What is this game pushing you to do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that
it doesn't make any sense. I don't really enjoy that type of, and I couldn't, even if I did want it to, because I wasn't using any My Castle bullshit. I couldn't use any trainee units. I had to bring my A game constantly. I wanted to use Odin. I couldn't use Odin because he's too
he's
rounded.
awful.
Yeah, he's really bad. It sucks.
Wayne's cool.
In that game, he's not great. He's like it really helps to have people who are focused, who are specialized, rather than someone who's like all around and has like a funny critical perf. Like I love him, but like
I don't know if we should like bring this up. Like I don't know if this really matters, but like, would PvP have anything to do with like, you know?
No, I consider that.
It's not because it's not really a core aspect of the game at all.
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of there. But
that's the thing with this.
Add to it.
It's annoying when it's not concrete like this because you don't know what is core, what isn't core, where you should be level wise, where you shouldn't be, what are good stats, what are bad stats, because it's just like you pretty much choose your own difficulty as opposed to the developers designing a game to be
played a certain way.
Yeah, that's fundamentally why I don't enjoy these games.
So Chaz, where would you put Conquest on this?
I would
list?
put it honestly A. I thought
really?
Just from my personal,
you were talking so much shit.
Yeah, well, I think the game is still awesomely designed.
Me too,
I think
yes.
I had the most fun I've had with the Fire. That's the game that brought me out of Heroes because I just had so much fun with it.
Oh my god!
Personally.
Okay, so basically everyone here says C. Chaz says A.
I think
right? And then Link says B. Oh, Jay, go ahead. I didn't hear what Jay said.
But Link does make a good point though.
Yeah, like I think Link's points are. So I do agree that the gameplay is really fun, but I don't think that's enough to put it up to an A, especially when we like look at all the Fire Emblem characters. I think Fates has one of the weakest cast of characters. And so I think just from going down what I value, right? I think the characters are kind of awful. I do think
they're tropes, but there are likable ones, and the designs are good. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah,
about
the designs are fantastic.
No one's gonna complain about the designs or the music in Fates.
Yeah.
Fates music is fantastic for anyone who does.
It's like one of my favorite soundtracks.
I use Fates music all the time for my videos.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
But like, I think Conquest was the only game that nailed Dragonblood correctly. Because it added a layer of strategy on where you should move your royals around, opposed to just, hey, we're gonna stand on this Dragonblood tile, and then we're just gonna open the map up for you, like that.
Yeah, there was times where you didn't want to use the Dragonblood, like the Elise chapter.
With the walls,
or not the Elise chapter. What's her name?
One.
The Sakura chapter. Yeah. There's time. The staircase chapter. Another you want to plan out those dragon veins as well.
I think the map designs were relatively good, but I just don't think the character, or like, I just don't think that's good enough to push it up to an A, especially when I rank it with all the other Fire Emblem characters.
That's fair.
I'm gonna go with Link and put it like at C.
Yeah, I put it at
for
C
me,
as
like
well.
on paper, it's just It's just
Okay.
like
I think.
Birthright Revelations, but like more.
Do you want to hear my
enjoyable to play.
opinion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Conquest is actually, I think it's mechanically the strongest game. Like, no joke.
Yeah, I agree.
It just straight up is. Best map design in the series, in my opinion, also. So put those two together. Those, I like in the beginning of the video, those are my two strongest core values. It makes me want to push Conquest way up there. I do agree with
that just
Chaz.
shows how much. That just shows how much those two factors differentiate from D tier to A tier. I think like that.
Yeah, it's a fun ass game to play.
I think it's because me and Link have like sort of different core values where we value more like.
And that's
character and
fair.
story.
We can all respect that. But I agree with Chaz that I really like concrete Fire Emblem experiences. Like
That's fair.
Like FE7 and FE6. You play it, it's going to be the same no matter what you do with the game, right? A file you start 5 years from now is going to be exactly the same. And children units, I'm going to dock points from it. It worked in Awakening, even like story-wise, I guess.
Yeah,
But
agreed.
But in Conquest, I feel like it breaks Awakening too, but I feel like it breaks Conquest. And it just felt really forced.
I don't think it breaks
So-
Conquest because I think Kana.
I think it
I don't
does.
think Kana's as good as Corrin.
But it takes away from the royal factor because you can make like how many royals?
It does. It definitely does, and I agree with that. But at most, I think you can make like 3 more royals, right? Because you have Siegbert and you have Forest, and then you have the Kana whatever.
You could make at least anyone who has Dragon Blood and they make a
Oh,
child,
right.
they can also
become
pass it
royals
down.
too, yeah.
So you could have 5 more basically, and Azura because she's a royal. I think she has Dragon Blood, does she?
Yeah.
and
My
Shigure
Kana
also has
sucked.
Dragon Blood too, I think.
Well, he's a kid, so you could have like an additional 6 royals, right? I don't know. It felt like it didn't really add anything to the experience, and it just made units that you could potentially make busted, like with mixing and matching skills. That's just me.
Well,
I'm not a big.
I just
Go
don't think every parent was good enough, with the exception of like 3 parents, and that's like Xander, Camilla, and Keaton, or whatever.
Sure.
And so,
Talk me best.
and so I just felt
my
like
God.
when you got a kid unit, unless they have like really good parents, they're just overall really worthless.
Yeah, no, I agree with Jay on this one. Like the Takumi one with his son is so bad. Like he's jealous that his own son is like better at archery than him. It's like,
We're talking about story, but that's
yeah,
fine.
well,
Like you're talking about story. I mean.
Yeah, and
But yeah, I would have enjoyed this. Basically, I would have enjoyed this game better if it didn't have child units.
Yes.
no, I agree. They
Or
felt
that
forced.
DLC stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
felt forced.
So
Hey, Speedy, guess what?
what's up?
They're optional.
All right, so D tier it is.
No,
Right?
I think it's at the top. It's either at the top of C
I think-
or at the bottom of
I want to
C.
say B
Fine,
as
I'll go
well.
Low B, top C.
I'll go C. I'll let this one go.
So hear me
'Cause I'm
out.
not
Hear
gonna
me
let
out. So we can put them in these tiers right now, but I'm totally open to like if we eventually start discussing other games and we're like, hang
Yeah,
on,
we'll
this
swap
doesn't
them.
belong in the same tier as this
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Like we can eventually swap things around. But as
Nothing
a
is
start,
concrete yet.
I would say Conquest is definitely either top of C or bottom of B.
Yep.
Like that's what
Would
I
you
would be willing to
would you
go
put
with.
Conquest below Sacred Stones? Because I wouldn't.
No,
I would put it
hell
above Sacred
no.
Stones.
Would I ever say that?
I would say they can. It's a
I
trade-off,
wouldn't put
right?
anything below Sacred Stone. I mean, above Sacred Stones. I would put everything above it.
They can coexist.
It's difficult for me to say. I think they're two sides of the same coin. One of them, they both do different things very well.
Yep.
And they alternate. Like Conquest does the gameplay extremely well that Sacred Stones doesn't exactly do, although Sacred Stones has some decently designed maps and stuff because it's GBA Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
But obviously gameplay is not as good as Conquest. But then Conquest doesn't do characters and story and all that stuff as good. So it's
Honestly,
a toss-up. I don't know if we can really...
I would put Conquest over Sacred Stones.
I would too.
The thing is with map design is you don't really get a feel for the actual map design unless the difficulty is there with it.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would say that for Sacred Stones, despite it having great map design, you don't really get it's like playing Path of Radiance for the first time on normal and then playing it on hard. You just get a completely different appreciation for the
I agree.
game
For sure.
if the difficulty
For
is
sure.
there with you.
You know what? That's fair. I'll concede that.
So we're cool with putting Conquest above Sacred Stones for now.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on. What game do you guys want to tackle next? Are we gonna do these originals or? Because I haven't
I don't
I haven't
know.
played any of these originals. I don't know who has.
Fire Emblem 1 should be A.
Can you make an argument for it, or are you just trolling?
Because it's despite if we're talking about UI, we're not judging UI.
Well, I think that
in
goes
any of
into
this, right?
presentation.
No, that should matter.
Presentation.
Is it presentation?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, then, but yeah, all the I mean, that's the thing.
Well, it's dated.
You could say that you can say anything is dated. You could say that like games that came out 5 years ago need to update. UI can always be updated, streamlined for quality of life. Fire Emblem 1 presentation 10 out of 10. It is the quintessential Fire Emblem experience. The music
It hurts my eyes.
I'd argue. No, the graphics for the time are really good.
At the time, yeah, it's groundbreaking. Yeah, no.
And they have charm. Music, I'd argue, pound for pound, is the best Fire Emblem soundtrack.
Right,
OST
I feel
in
like
the game.
it has not aged well at all, though. Like if you go back to it now, like dun 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 dun, dun and you just have the fucking like the 8-bit brigand just squatting over like.
Yeah. Okay. So.
But okay, back
clearly,
then, I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
I would put it in B then, but I know you guys are gonna put it like down in C or D. But this is like still a really fun game to play. I had a great time playing. I played through it 3 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And once on original hardware too.
I have not played that.
And I think it's mechanically sound. There are some. It's quirky as fuck. You know, Magic Avoid is luck. It's just straight up luck.
Okay. That doesn't sound very fun.
Magic might. There's no might in Magic. It's just based off the tomes might. You can't increase it.
Oh wow.
There's just a lot, but it doesn't matter. There's a lot of ways to cheese the game, but as an experience, I think it's like one of the map design is fucking great. The map design is fucking great in that game.
Okay, is it anything like Shadow Dragon?
Shadow Dragon sucks, dick. It needs to go.
Ooh, all right.
Okay, wait.
Because Shadow Dragon, okay.
Can I chime in on Fire Emblem 1 before we dive into Shadow Dragon?
Link. Yeah.
So I think it's important to be said that there are a couple different ways to experience Fire Emblem 1. There is so Fire Emblem 1 is like 1990, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
In 1990.
So it's a freaking old game. Like it's older than most of us here. And
I don't even know how old Chaz is, so.
I'm 17.
Okay, so it's older than all of us.
Right.
Okay, boober.
So naturally, if you're playing it 30 years later, which was where we're at right now, next year's the 30th anniversary of Fire Emblem, it's going to feel not great to play. If you can get over that, there's like you either emulator experience or if you actually get it on hardware. Those are the 2 different ways to play it. Playing it on emulator is much more forgiving because the gameplay in this game is very, very slow. And if that's not something you're prepared like to deal with, like the units moving across the map, like if you're on a horse, they're gonna go like slowly, like square by square
I like that,
to the enemy.
Yeah.
I love the little animations,
And so-
though. They're great.
It's for what it did at its time, it is a very good Fire Emblem game. But if we're going to like, that gets into the weeds of do we look at it at its time or do we look at it now?
I mean,
It's
we're
really
looking
hard
at
to
it now,
say.
right? Because we're ranking it with other Fire Emblem games.
That are out now.
Yeah.
I know it's unfair to like treat the older games.
We can't. But we're also not. We're not judging the DLC in Conquest.
We are.
So we're actually judging them as they're released. If we're not including
That's not the same
the
thing.
exploit maps, I don't know. That's judging
All
it
right.
now.
And I'm sorry
or
to
that's
interrupt.
Judging it then.
Link, if you were still going with your explanation, but I just want to say, FE4 was an older game I played recently, right? And one of the main reasons I didn't enjoy it is because it was so slow paced. Like not even the gameplay, but just like the animations and everything. And it was just such a slog to play because of that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I know you could use emulator
We know.
speed up, but I don't think we should count save states and emulators for these games. I think we should.
Well,
just-
that's
I'm on
that's why
original
I went down
hardware.
that tangent. Is I didn't know
Yeah.
exactly like what experience are we talking about and what time are we talking about, because it's very difficult. Like we can go back and say, oh man, you know, this game was revolutionary for its time, but like, now 29 years later, it's like, why would I ever want to play this game? I'm not saying it's bad at all. I'm just saying it is very dated. As much as Chaz wants to say any game is dated, he's right. But it is very dated, and compared to what all the other Fire Emblem games do, I just feel like it doesn't stand up to them quite enough. Don't get me wrong, it's a classic. Everyone should go play it. just because it's the first game in the series. Like, you should at least experience it once.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I would, like, if I'm going to create a tier list, this is not anywhere near the top of my tier list. Maybe in the middle, maybe slightly below average. But
Yeah, I'm going to concede this one because I feel like I'm just like kind of an outlier when it comes to this shit. Like, I have a lot of patience for slow UI.
You
I
do.
played like tons of yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm sorry, just for interrupting, but I'm just saying,
Go ahead.
if I were to play the game now, honestly, I'd be down to play. I could watch it all day. Like, just I watched the first chapter, right, and just seeing the break, dude. I just love their little animation. They just squat over, they hit you, and then they walk back. It's like I could watch it all day. I could watch it all day. I'd play it. I would play it.
Would you seriously sit down and play this game on original hardware?
Yes.
yes,
I can't even do that on
Yeah,
Radiant
it's so
Dawn
fun.
anymore.
I don't think I can do that.
Really?
I don't think I can do that.
I would do it.
I can.
I
If I had
can't.
the
I
time,
absolutely
if I had
can't.
the time.
I
If I had
can-
the time, yes, I would.
I think my
everyone
patience-
should do it once. Everyone should do it once.
Okay, I'll do it once,
It's a
but my
great-
patience
It's got the best map theme.
for Fire Emblem games is just 1 through 3. I just visually, I don't think I can go back. But I'm willing.
Okay.
But I'm willing to play
Yeah.
through FE4 again, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes me kind of a hypocrite in that matter.
No, the feel of FE4 going in onward, it's so much snappier. It's hard going to Tearing Saga because
Best game.
of the actual game play or the actual like just things moving around on the screen is so slow. I understand that completely, and they made a huge jump with just how playable it is, just moving things around. It feels much better. But in the back of the day, a strategy game didn't have to be fast. It wasn't. It's a game that's like supposed to be. You're sitting down and you're focusing on the moment, and you're sort of living in turn by turn.
I mean that is definitely.
It's not like it is today, where it's
that is definitely
Go ahead.
true. But it's like I'm thinking about my decision before I move my character. So I'm thinking if I move Drog here to guard the point, whatever, right? As you do with every arm. Yeah.
It's Doga. It's Doga. It's Doga. Get it right. It's Doga.
Yeah, if I move Doga,
You gotta be like Gordon.
to choke the point, whatever, right? I'm thinking about that before I move him, right? And then with how slow they move afterwards, it's like, can you please get into your position before I start thinking about my next move? You know?
Hey Jay. Doga! Did you see that shot?
Oh my god.
What
Can
did
I
you
just
say?
have Bisquick?
Yo, big log. I can't.
I just
No,
want to listen to
the
Bisquick commentate over Fire Emblem games.
Yo, big log. I hit it on the bar.
The worst part about the game is that there's no inventory system.
There is.
And there's
well,
a guy
makes it
named
Speedy.
okay, yeah, there's no inventory system, so it's like there's a guy Shane Brained who's been playing through all the games
Chronologically.
in order chronologically in order and he like pointed out how bad the inventory management system is in this game. It is so terrible. You have to set up like shopping lines to like sell things in the middle of it.
This is why I didn't want to talk about these games.
Well,
This
it's
is
too
why I
late.
didn't
I
want
already
it, because
I
you can-
dedicated too much time to this. I could always cut it out of the video.
But it's still so fun.
I know,
guys.
but again,
it's not
if we're
fair.
gonna talk about these,
All
you're just
right,
gonna
well,
get into it like it really isn't
Okay.
fair.
Just leave it in C for now. We can.
Well,
Leave
okay.
it at C.
You
I'm
guys
fine
cool
with
with
leaving
C?
it at C. I would put it
For now, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's one of the best mechanically sound besides the jank.
I can't
the
say anything. I
UI
have no
jank.
opinion.
I don't either.
Except for the amazing animation.
I think it's more mechanically sound than Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon.
Boom, he
which
said it.
Complete,
He said it.
Okay, well, while we're on the
which
topic,
completely fucking gutted
Shadow
the
Dragon?
game.
if you're
and
telling
just
me you're
kept the
putting Shadow
maps.
Dragon above these two, I would disagree.
I think Shadow Dragon goes there. I think that Fire Emblem 12 goes up. I like Fire Emblem 12 map design. The Gaiden chapters are really amazing, and
That's a new mystery.
but I just cannot stand Chris.
Yeah, I
I
can't
think Chris
stand
is
Chris
just like
either.
the worst.
Well, I never
He
played.
needs
12.
to go.
I think. Oh, I always talk about how much I hate Avatar characters, and that also includes Chris. I think FE3, if we're talking about its story, right? Like the characters, to me, like Jaegen, right? He's not a playable character in FE3, but because you know about his role in the original Fire Emblem game, his role, like him being Marth's advisor in FE3 and like kind of him rallying the troops together, that was a really memorable moment for me. But then I go play FE12 and Chris is doing that, and he's a fucking nobody. Like he literally joined the army. He like
just shows up.
Yeah, and then Marth's like, "Hey, you're pretty good. Let me suck you off since you're an Avatar character."
Yeah,
and it's just like, wait a minute.
I also just don't like how fucking overpowered he is.
Of course.
It sucks.
Yeah.
He's a fanfic character.
It's not fun. I don't really like having to use him, and in higher difficulties, you really do have to like completely rely on him.
Okay. So is this
but-
correct? This ordered right here?
I think the gameplay is still solid though for FE12. So I will.
Wait, hold up. Hang on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are we really putting both of them in D tier?
No, I think
I don't know what I'm
FE12 is C.
That's what I said.
No.
but
Shadow Dragon, I'm okay with leaving down there. And if you want to hear like an elitist take, I think this is funny because I say it
Elitists love FE12, by the way.
No, I'm not talking about 12. I'm talking about Shadow Dragon. And hear this. You could say Shadow Dragon is the worst game in the entire series because it sold so poorly. It caused them
killed the franchise.
It almost killed the franchise, but it also caused them to create Awakening and Fates, which were such a drastic.
All right, we're done with this conversation.
That's an even better point, dude.
No. I have to say this, right? Because it's also an opinion out there that people can go like, oh, that's right, or oh, I know I hate this guy for saying it. Thanks, Link. But what Shadow Dragon has that I am fond of, and people are going to like probably want to kill me for this. Everyone here, I freaking loved the online in Shadow Dragon, the PvP. It was great. I think any Fire Emblem game can create a PvP system like Shadow Dragon. Guys, everyone's going to hack the game and they're going to break it. But Fog of War, 5 units, turn timer, a central destination that you can occupy. Like the only thing it was missing is like you can end via a condition, like say you have that fortress in the middle, and if you occupy it for like, let's say 3 to 5 turns, then it ends. Otherwise people can just run around in circles. Like that's the problem it has. But mechanically, I thought the PvP in Shadow Dragon was good. Everything else is pretty bad, and I would actually keep it in D tier. I just have to point out the PvP is underrated.
Okay, that's fair.
In terms of New Mystery, I think New Mystery in terms of gameplay is really, really good. Like, excellently good. And it does somewhat fix the characters. Not good enough, obviously. Like, I'm not saying it's going to go up to top of B tier or A tier. I would definitely put it above the bottom tier, like at least in, around the top of C, the bottom of D.
Okay. Because
it at least, they learned from the mistakes they made in Shadow Dragon, and they fixed it a little bit in New Mystery.
But
if you play the 2 games, like... Sorry, go ahead, Jay.
I was going to ask if we would consider it better than the original FE1.
Again, this is why I didn't want to discuss the old games, because it's difficult. Like, if you want to listen to the music, it's pretty good.
How about
if you want to look at the appearances, it's pretty good.
Fucking, what's it called? FE1, I forgot what it was called for a second. FE1 just kind of to the side for now, and then we can decide on that later. Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be.
I don't want to cover
yeah.
the C. Here, you could go over here. So you want to put New Mystery at C tier is what I'm getting, like the consensus.
At least, I would agree.
I think
putting it up
FE12
there
is
fair.
Yeah, I don't mind putting it as C tier. I like actually enjoy Shadow Dragon more than I like Fire Emblem 12 because of that's how much I dislike Chris's addition to the game. But I think I don't appreciate any of the gameplay they added besides Gaiden chapters. I think people complain about Shadow Dragon's Gaiden chapters being like the prerequisite is you losing units. Like, okay, so you don't need to fucking play them. They're there for people who suck.
It's a catch-up
to get more units. Like it's not exactly. And I just don't like how they took the game that was already pretty mechanically sound and just stripped it, gutted it, kept the maps, added things that they thought people would enjoy, like a weapons triangle and magic. Avoid not being tied completely to luck and stuff like that. But they took a game that was already mechanically sound, just stripped it of its whole core and identity, added these stupid, like Katria is suddenly in love with Marth, just bullshit that didn't really need to be there. And I think that Echoes is actually a response to this type of remake philosophy. Keeping everything intact, just enhancing the presentation and updating the UI, but keeping the entire game intact, even the clunk, even the jank, even the unlimited Dread Fighter warp glitch.
Yeah.
Apparently that's not a
everything.
glitch. Apparently that's not a glitch.
Well, it's so stupid.
I completely agree with what Chaz is saying, and that just shows you, the stepwise, like they're learning. They tried the remake the first time, Shadow Dragon. All they really did was enhance the graphics and like dumb it down a little bit. They didn't make a proper remake. And so in New Mystery, they tried. They really did. And they succeeded in some aspects, and some aspects they didn't. Again, we can look at Echoes. I think Echoes did a fantastic job as a remake because it kept what it needed to keep, and it enhanced what needed to be enhanced. Like if you look at Shadow Dragon, did they really enhance the story? No. New Mystery, did they enhance the story? Arguably, they made it worse. But in Echoes, they fixed what was missing, and I think that just brings that up so much.
And they added Faye,
and that's it's just a detracting factor from these ones.
They added Faye, Berkut, and
Conrad.
And they were
Conrad and someone else.
And those are some of the best characters in the fucking game, in
Ferdinand.
my opinion, too.
Yeah, Ferdinand.
But unfortunately it's open map, so as a game it sucks.
But it goes back to that.
Damn.
I can't help
Hey, Chaz.
fundamentally.
That's why we're here to keep you in check.
Chaz, guess
Here
what?
we go. Here we go. Here it comes.
Chaz,
we
guess
doing?
what?
What?
It's optional.
Optional.
God damn.
Gotti?
Okay,
You
so
know,
while
you
we're
know you could heal Colm with Molder.
No.
while we're on the topic of New Mystery of the
Terrible.
Emblem, how do we feel about just Mystery of the Emblem?
I personally think it's better than Effie.
Really? Do you guys feel the same? I haven't played either of these games.
I don't. I like Shadow Dragon more than I like FE 3.
What the?
by
So
the
it's
way.
down here.
I mean, not Shadow. No, sorry, not Shadow Dragon. I mean, Heroes of Light and
The first
One.
the hero of the first one.
One.
Okay, so one's on the side.
Well, I actually like Fire Emblem 1 more than I like Fire Emblem 3.
So one's above 3.
As an experience. The story of 3 is cool, but it just doesn't have the impact of 1 for me. And I just don't. And I also I don't like playing book 1 of Fire Emblem 3
that's fair.
over. I'd rather.
Doesn't
I'd rather.
Isn't it like Marth's best friend betrays him or something like that? He's like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah, it's sort of his best friend or somebody who's just jealous because he has erectile dysfunction or something.
I'm
He
asking
just
you-
looks at Sheeta and Marth. He's like,
He's like, "Fuck."
Wait, but guys, isn't this a remake?
Description I've heard of Hardeen.
New Mystery of the Emblem is the
It is a
remake,
but
of
the
3,
remake
right?
does. I don't think. It's a remake of Book 2, 3.
Oh,
so
okay, I wasn't aware.
So Fire Emblem 3 has a remake of Fire Emblem 1, but it has a lot of cut content because it's such a big game in itself. So you don't get Wendell.
Yeah.
oh, not Wendell.
Oh, no, not Wendell. Is it Wendell or is it Riss?
I think it's
the first map.
No, you don't get
Yeah,
Riss, I'm pretty sure.
You don't get Riss. I always
Yeah.
confuse the two because
They're old
both
people. Yeah, old
guys.
healers, yeah.
The old games are just weird. Like that's the
Yeah.
easiest way to describe
Okay,
them. They're just weird.
I'm
don't
simply asking you.
You don't get Jake either.
I'm simply asking you which game is higher on the list. The remake or the original FE3?
They could be. I think they could be argued for the same spot. I think that's the
Yeah,
one.
I would
So
agree.
should I do one of these?
Yeah,
Just make them
I would
overlap?
say honestly. So when it comes down to because it does add 12 does. The Gaiden chapters are really good in a step in the direction that we saw Conquest kind of come to fruition with the map design being more varied and allowing players to think outside the box to do their objectives and not just route everybody, Has anyone played all the Gaiden chapters in 12?
Yeah, I gotta say, the gameplay is fantastic. If anyone hasn't watched a 0% growth run of FE12 and you guys are into Fire Emblem gameplay, go watch that. It is fantastic. It's insane.
But everything else is just so shitty.
Yeah,
I really
agree.
don't like I don't like reclassing for one because I think it takes away the differentiation of units. I think
don't
it
like
turns every
reclassing
unit
either.
into a number. You don't have to reclass,
don't,
but it's
but-
just it's embedded in the menu to a point, and it's so high on the menu list that you feel like you have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like, and there's so many ways to exploit you. Everyone's used Armor Wolf Has any, you know?
Of course.
Who hasn't
Of
made?
course.
It's just like.
Although I'd argue Sedgar is better, but sure.
Yeah, and what's it called? Or Sniper Aaron at the beginning of or is that his name, right? The Jaegan you get in the
Aran, whatever.
the front of
Aran.
Aran, yeah. Sniper Aran is so good too,
Yeah,
but it's just like they lose their identity. I just feel like
the whole Aran's entire identity is that he's a Jaegan, but the reason why he has shitty growths is because he's sick, you know. And then you turn him into Sniper. It's like, is he really sick?
I still don't have an answer here. Though. Are they the same?
I think they're the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is why I didn't want to talk about.
All right, then I'm getting rid of the older ones.
All right, whatever.
I'm cutting all this out.
Hey, wait, where's the OVA? Where's the OVA at?
Keep one. Keep one in there.
So
keep one.
Where's the OVA?
Because I think that one is legit like one of the best Fire Emblems. If it got a proper remake, that would be amazing.
It did.
And
it's at the bottom.
I can't stand how well, that's not proper. I can't stand how the map theme of Fire Emblem 1 continually gets shafted by the map theme of Fire Emblem 3. I fucking hate the map theme of Fire Emblem 3.
Where's the OVA?
It sucks.
Where's the OVA?
It's an S tier. All right,
it's an S tier.
Let's move along, guys. So we're agreeing that we're agreeing that new Mystery of the Emblem and Mystery of the Emblem are both the same in C tier for now. Okay.
Yep.
Sure.
All right. Let's move on. Any other game you guys want to tackle?
Let's talk about a console Fire Emblem, a newer one. Let's do Path of Radiance.
Okay.
Ooh.
Path of Radiance.
Solid A.
I think it's an S game.
Yeah, I think that's a
solid A. Solid A.
I would say an A. I would give it an A. I would between A and S. It's just the perfect
so
Fire Emblem experience.
It's so good.
I think it's S too.
I mean,
am I gonna go?
I'm willing to go S.
Well,
if
Link,
everyone's
what do
willing
you
to go
think?
S, I'll go S. But,
I like Path of Radiance. I really do.
It's probably my favorite game.
I think it's definitely somewhere in between A and S, depending on how you want to think about it.
Dude,
with me, it's always depending, right? There's always two ways. If I'm playing Fire Emblem Path of Radiance in retrospect, after I've completed both Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, I actually appreciate it more than having played it standalone at first.
Okay.
That's actually my take on it because of the story and the characters, and what the gameplay again is not going to change much. It's pretty solid from a gameplay wise, and playing it on Maniac mode or Lunatic, I forget what it's called
hard.
Exactly.
It's just hard.
Is it just hard?
Hard is Japanese.
Oh wait,
normal.
are we talking
like
No,
that's Radiant Dawn.
that was Radiant Dawn.
Radiant Dawn.
I think it was Maniac mode in
I
Japanese.
think it's Maniac as well.
Oh,
it's not even in the North American release.
Yeah, it's
they
not.
made it harder. So
Dude,
so it's.
I heard it sucks though. Everything just has like infinite HP.
Well, I watched Manx
It's
play
crazy.
it and it looked
No.
pretty
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it just doesn't
it's
look
crazy.
fun. Like I feel like hard's the perfect. Like, well, I mean, even hard's a little easy maybe, but like it's just I don't know. It's just a solid experience overall.
Oh yeah, it's
Okay,
a great game.
does anyone here think
I would say A.
does anyone here think it doesn't belong in A to S?
No, it definitely is.
No,
I think it
Yes.
got. I think I only put it in A because I
Dude,
think there's stuff that's
I'm
actually.
so-
I agree.
So
The thing I think is better, which might be controversial, I'm not sure, but it might make me a basic bitch. But I think FE7 is actually
no, fuck that. No, get out, Speedy. No, lower.
Wait,
no.
really?
Yeah.
It's at least a B. I think it's a B.
I think FE7's an A experience.
What's wrong with FE7 besides the mediocre story?
Oh, the story. Well, I really didn't. Okay, like Lin mode. Yeah, you can skip that, dude. That fucking map where it's raining, right? I hate that map so much, man. No, it's not fun. I hate it. It's so tedious. You don't get to move anywhere. Like that throw my Game Boy. It's raining. It. Oh, dude. Oof. The pirates. Oof. I can't, dude. I can't do it with the rain. Like it just goes to a grinding halt. You can't move anywhere, and like, I hate it.
Nothing.
What are you doing? How did you do that? How did you select two games at once? How did you do that?
Did you just
I think
summon
the
a bunch of
characters-
monsters in one turn? That's a good
This is honestly where I would put these
crazy.
two.
I
I think
bring
these
them down.
two are the
put
best
no,
Fire.
A.
These
A or B for me. A or B for me.
You got.
I'm not
I
putting
personally
this.
don't have much attachment to any of the GBA games, but I definitely didn't have as good of a time with 7 that I thought I would have.
I mean,
I think FE7.
But I did like
I think
it.
FE7 has one of the best map designs.
Absolutely.
In Fire Emblem.
Oh, it's got great. It's got great map
And
design.
I
No
also
one's-
think-
no one's
the
denying that.
rain.
It has the best.
Rain. I can't do that, man.
I still think Conquest
Not
has better
again.
map
So
design
funny.
than FE7.
I'm not strong enough. There are some maps.
Conquest-
There are some
Fire
maps
Emblem
in
7
I like.
has the best map in the entire series.
Which one?
There's one map in Fire Emblem 7 that is the
16X.
best map in the entire. No.
the Nino Jafar
It's,
one.
Yep,
Shut up.
exactly.
It's honestly a good
Exactly.
map.
Oh, nice. Battle
it's like
Before
Dawn.
Battle
Dawn,
Before
yeah.
Dawn
I-
is the best
Battle
Fire
Before
Emblem
Dawn
map.
is
I
fantastic.
actually think
I don't-
16X is much better.
The Port of Badon.
Yeah, because it gave you options as a player.
I love 16X.
I think 16X
That's
That's
when
the
you
one.
get
That's the one
Canos,
with
right?
Fargus, right? That's the
Yeah.
one with
That is a
Fargus.
It
fantastic.
gave you-
That is such a good
It gave
chapter.
you 3 different ways you could tackle the map, and I think that was one
was
of the best
cool.
experiences.
I
I've ever
love.
had.
I just love though when you fight, like if you challenge Fargus, he's like, "Oh, you're really gonna take me on? All right, suicide, whatever." And then you beat him. He's like, "Oh, you beat me? No, fuck you. You don't get a ride now." It's like, what the hell, dude?
Wait, don't you have to hack to beat him?
No,
He's like still salty about it. He's
no,
like,
you
don't
can
get a
beat
ride
him
now.
normal. You got the arena in that chapter.
I've never beat him normally. Maybe
He's
I
a dick
didn't do the
about it,
arena
dude.
abuse.
He's like, "You don't get a ride then." But yeah, the one where you get cannot do. That's a great. That's a good chapter.
Okay, so
You have to.
sorry.
You have to. The ally, like the previous chapter, right? Like
You need to
the,
recruit Raven, I think. I think
thought
that's
you
how you
had-
do it.
I think
No, you
have
just have
spare
to
enough
save the
green units.
soldiers.
Yeah,
You have to save
spare
one of
enough-
them.
Oh no, dude.
You have to save a green unit, just one?
Yes.
Okay,
no,
because
just
my
one.
first
Just
playthrough of 7, I missed 16X. I didn't get Canos.
I think we all did.
Yeah.
I think we all did.
No, I got
probably.
16X.
I got
did
16X.
Well,
You
I was
guys are
like
fucking
11,
losers.
dude. Okay, chill.
Yeah,
out.
I was like,
Yeah,
don't
sorry,
play-
I was 9 years old.
I don't even
Playing on
play
the
Fire
Japanese
Emblem.
version, dog.
I don't even play Fire Emblem. Why am I even here? dude?
Yeah, you could hang up now. 'cause-
It's true.
Okay, so are we saying Path of Radiance is above 7?
Yes.
Yes,
It's not an
I
S
think
tier.
so.
Bring it back down.
Oh, for sure. There's no doubt
No,
that it's
I-
above 7.
yes. I agree.
I like. First of all, I think that the difficulty curve. Actually, no.
No.
LinkKing said the
The difficulty curve scales perfectly in Fire Emblem
Yeah.
7. Even people who want to trash Lin mode, you're only let's be real, you're only trashing it because you've played Fire Emblem before and you're coming back to 7, so you're upset that there's a
Preach.
tutorial.
Preach.
Yep.
If like a bunch of
Yeah.
us, you've never played Fire Emblem before, I had 4 units left at the end of Lin mode. Do you think I was going to have a great time with Fire Emblem 7 if I only had those 4 units moving on to Eliwood mode? No!
I like Lin mode.
Yeah,
I think Lin
if you
mode's
play it on
fine.
hard.
Lin mode is
don't
very
like Lin- I don't-
tasteful. It's
I
like
don't-
it's like a little mini
No.
Fire Emblem
Bro,
experience.
Yeah.
Lin
Like
mode,
you,
Lin mode almost made me not want to play the game the first time.
Really?
Like, it
But
was really slow
what was your
for me. I
first?
didn't
What was
like
your
it.
first FE game?
It was okay. It was Path of Radiance, but I didn't like that as a kid. I was stupid as a kid. You guys got to give me some slack. Right?
dude, I didn't like Path of Radiance either.
when I
I didn't like Path of Radiance either when I first played it. That was actually my first.
It was-
my first Fire Emblem.
yeah
Was Path of Radiance.
Yeah, it was my first too, and
And I hated it.
I didn't like it either.
I played for
I didn't like
I
it either.
actually
It's-
returned to it 2 years later, and I fell in love with it.
No, that was the thing.
Yeah.
So later,
Same.
like my dad actually made me sell it, and I didn't know the value of it at all. So I was like, whatever. And then like I literally got my hands on it this year, and like I got to fully experience. I did hard. I played through the whole thing, and I really enjoyed it every way. Dude, like I like updated Chaz like every time I got to a part. I'm like, dude, I got to this chapter. Like I got to the part where Ashnard like he transforms. Like, dude, Ashnard transforms. Chaz is like, yeah, Ashnard transforms. And I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy. Like, but like I learned later, like in hard, like if you don't play on hard mode, Ashnard doesn't move or transform, which I think is super lame. Like, you know, like I love that Ashnard. Like, Ashnard might be like my favorite final boss because like in all the other Fire Emblem games, you have like this big dragon, big monster, whatever. But Ashnard is like this humanoid, like he's a flyer, and like you find him in this big open area, and like they take advantage of that. Like he comes to you, he's got 10 movement. Like, I just love it. It's great. It sucks that only Ike and like Laguz Royal and who else? Oh, maybe Nasir can like touch him, but
That's most Fire Emblem games. I feel like you can't touch the
Yeah.
final boss unless you're using like
Yeah,
a god
I
character
hate
or.
that.
I love that. My favorite Fire Emblem games are the ones with the body. Actually, this isn't what you're talking about. With the fucking plot armor, but I like Fire Emblem games where the last boss is really almost it seems insurmountable at the end.
I mean, that's how they should
what
be,
examples?
to be honest.
Yeah, and I think Fire Emblem 7 does that. I think that Fire Emblem 9 does that really well on
the
hard
Black
mode
Knight,
at least.
the Black Knight fight was
Well, not even the Black Knight. When you're fighting the what's his name, the king,
Ashnard.
Mad King Ashnard on a dragon.
Yeah.
And he's moving around. Oh my god,
it's great. No, that's what I'm saying. Like he's just like, if you take too long, he's just like, you know what, I'm coming to you, and it's like,
That's why Chosen by Fate, which is the last map of Fire Emblem 1, is my favorite map of all time, because I think it really set this besides, okay, for whoever says warp strats, besides warp strats, it's a very difficult map.
Yo, did someone say warp strats?
Can we talk about Fire Emblem 7 again?
Yeah,
a
sure.
little bit, because I don't think we talked about it enough. Like, there's a lot that we didn't talk about in terms of Fire Emblem 7 and ranking it. I think one of the few things that I was really drawn to about Fire Emblem 7 is like the dynamics between the characters. That is like, I felt that I was on this journey with them. And I think that is something that's pretty important. Like in Lin mode, sure, she talks to you as the tactician a lot, and that sometimes feels kind of lame. Although I thought it was pretty good because it feels like you're going along with them. Mm-hmm. But maybe this is going to sound really nerdy, but once you get into like Eliwood mode and he's trying to find his dad, and then you got Hector coming in, and there's like a dynamic between Eliwood and Hector that's both playful, but they play off each other so well that you feel like these are your own band of friends. Like when you get to a certain chapter where someone loses their significant other, and that's like a huge moment. You're like, holy shit, they're dead. Like, what?
Oh yeah.
And then they come up to you, and he goes away to like bury them, so he's not available for the chapter. Like, you feel for this person. It's been with you during Lin mode, and then now, and they've been sort of building it up slowly. And so that, sure, maybe it's not perfect mechanically, or maybe it's not perfect in terms of story, but it's really, I love it. It's my second favorite Fire Emblem game of all time. It's really special to me. I know it's not perfect.
That got me into the series.
Right.
Like, did you start with it too?
Yeah.
And Jay, what was your first FE?
FE7.
Okay,
Japanese,
so us three. Oh, you did the Japanese version.
Yeah.
Okay. Big difference.
I can tell that story at a different time, but it's kind of fun.
Also, a lot of people love to hate on support conversations and how hard they are to get in FE7. Guys, there are ROMs with this completely unlocked, or you can just watch them online. Go and watch the Renault support conversations, and you will see how much world building is hidden in these support conversations. It really, trust me, really enhances your experience once you read these and actually flesh out the characters. It's so good in this regard.
Yep.
It's such a shame that you get him so late in the game, because Renault really is.
No, that's the whole. No, but that's part of the mystique of his character is that you learn through supports. You like.
Yeah. Well,
and like the whole Kishuna side story as well. Like, that's huge in terms of the story in Fire Emblem 7.
And then there's also that weird like 16XX whatever. Is it 16XX?
19XX.
Genesis?
Yeah.
19XX.
Genesis, right?
Yeah, no, that's a different one. That's Hector mode.
Oh,
but there's a specific
Genesis, my favorite.
Yeah.
There's a specific map that
that
you
one.
can't tackle unless you get Nils to like level 7 before the end of
I know what you
Lin
mean.
mode. Yeah,
What?
and
I've never
that,
even heard of
really
that.
goes into like Nurgle's backstory. And then if you also talk with Kanos and Pent in their BNC support, you get to see why Nurgle's gone like off the rails.
Is that where you learn about his kids? Because I've never actually did that in game. I just like
yes, that's where you learn about his
exactly.
kids, and then you also learn how he becomes all crazy and shit too.
Well,
actually,
go ahead.
You know what? On a second thought, Speedy, put it in S tier. The black fangs in the game. Put that there.
All right. Well, I was gonna ask.
Seriously,
Go ahead.
No, but seriously, also too, like with characters like the Black Fang. I really like the Black Fang, like especially the Reed brothers.
They're
like,
my favorite villains in the game, like in the series.
I feel morally great characters. Like I love that they're also, I want to say almost parallels to Eliwood and Hector. Like Eliwood with Lloyd and then Hector Linus. Like even in Hector route, like when I watched like Gas video, made me think that like Hector's literally like if I lost Eliwood, would I have turned out like Linus? Would I have just lost everything? And I really like that, and it's a shame. It's a real shame that we don't get to see more of them. Like, yeah, I guess they had to die. If they lived and joined you, maybe it might have been cliche. But
my only gripe with FE7 is they have, because FE6 happens after, there has to be a little bit of continuity after.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just feel like there were just so many like there were things that make sense, like they fill in a few plot holes that were in FE6, right? But then because they had to continue the continuity, right? That's why Nino fucking disappears. Kanos dies to natural ass causes.
A blizzard.
Just go play Olympian Knights. It's pretty good.
I don't know what that is.
Dude, hey.
It's a ROM hack. It's so good.
Is it? Okay. I'll have to
Yeah,
Dude,
it's
ooh,
really
no, what's his name? Uncle Jan is a beast, dude.
Yeah,
I love that ROM.
Let's not get too off topic because we're already at like an
But
hour.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to cut this down.
That's where my problem is with FE7. It's
Okay, just for
because
continuity reasons between
yeah,
6
for continuity
and 7.
reasons, I felt there were
Continuity
there was some
reasons.
I don't feel like that's
there were
enough
some
for me to
lacking
dock it.
areas.
But...
Continuity in
I
my
think
Fire
it's A.
Emblem game? What are you talking about?
Okay, Zerk, Monster
Oh.
Hunter.
I gotta edit that out now. I gotta edit that out.
Lynn and Hector are canon.
Stop. All right, guys. So,
I
there-
would bring them both down to.
that's fair. But
think-
are there any?
I would bring both of them.
I want to ask: are there any games above these two?
Yes.
I
Yes.
disagree.
Okay, if you're gonna
Oh,
say
God,
FE4
yes.
or 5, you're wrong. But like,
He's not. I know what he's gonna say.
I'm not gonna
Okay,
say
which-
FE.
I know what he's
Can
gonna say.
you just bring
10.
them down to A
I'll
visually,
do that,
just
sure.
so that we can?
But what games
that we
are
can
above
talk.
these two? Because these are my two
You're
favorite.
gonna say Radiant Dawn.
Radiant,
I knew
Radiant
you were
Dawn
gonna
and
say
Fire
Radiant
Emblem 4.
Dawn.
Is there any
Yeah, Radiant
anything
Dawn.
else?
Radiant Dawn and Fire Emblem 4.
Yeah,
They're
Chaz, I'm giving you a
No.
virtual high five here.
Yeah, let's talk about Radiant Dawn first.
Let's talk Radiant Dawn. First.
Sure.
Mm.
I personally think Path of Radiance is a more fun game to play than Radiant Dawn.
I agree.
Agreed.
I agree.
So why
Disagree.
are we putting it above?
Disagree.
Okay, go ahead. Go with your argument.
I don't know. You say something first, Link. You're more well-versed.
Okay.
I can latch on and echo your opinion. So let's.
God damn it.
One of my favorite things to recount, and I've told probably most of you this in some way, shape, or form, but at the end of part 2, when they're sitting there about to execute Lucia, like I'm playing this game for the first time as a kid, and I don't know that it's a direct sequel. Maybe it's because I'm just stupid, but I know it's in the same world. I just didn't think all the characters would be there.
Wait, seriously?
But that one cutscene where they're gonna execute Lucia, and then Shinon and Rolf all of a sudden appear, and they're like, "It's too late for nerves, Rolf." And like I'm just like, "Holy shit! The Grill mercenaries are here!" Like, oh
Just
my
leave
god,
it to the master, eh?
yeah. And I'm just like,
I'm
"Oh my
nervous."
god, this is amazing! I get the Grill mercenaries back, and I've just played through part 1 that I hated, and I didn't like these characters. But then the Black Knight shows up all of a sudden. I'm like, "Oh my god, holy shit! I can use the Black Knight."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
was-
cool.
That was like my favorite moment in part 1.
Know your place.
Yeah. And so in terms of like story, I think it builds itself and the world on top of, this is why Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn are so finicky, because they both complement each other so well. Path of Radiance sort of sets the setting, gives you the real bare bones of the structure, and Radiant Dawn really drives so deeply into the lore of the game. It tells you why, in the first place, Path of Radiance happened. It gives you the entire understory of Ashnard and Sephiron and Leheron and like what had to happen before so that Path of Radiance would then happen and then eventually build on to Radiant Dawn in terms of story. The characters are pretty much the same. The Dawn Brigade isn't that great. Like,
They're not.
honestly, let's be real, both from
That's
a
an
gameplay
understatement.
perspective. I don't think anyone is really a huge fan of the Dawn Brigade. I don't want to generalize, but let's face it,
I'm
guys.
a huge fan.
Hey,
of
guys,
Dawn Brigade.
I'm Leonardo.
Okay, I don't think no
I
one
like
likes
the Dawn
Leonardo,
Brigade.
but there are Edward fans.
I don't like Leonardo, dude.
I benched Leonardo for sure.
I'm like,
See?
hey man, my boy.
But Nolan?
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah, my
Nolan's
boy
cool.
Nolan. Everyone
Nolan
loves
carried, dude. Nolan carried for me. All right, that's my boy.
They all get unique weapons
They do.
too.
They do.
When you get them back.
But dude,
It's
no,
sick.
nothing is enough for Leonardo. Okay, that bow was not enough to save him. All right.
Okay.
Leonardo.
Can I say my spiel for why I think Path of Radiance is better?
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
Radiant Dawn, I really respect what it did with the player's perspective jumping between different armies for every like part. Thought that was really cool.
I agree.
But I feel like it took away from one of my favorite aspects of playing a Fire Emblem game, which is building my army up from nothing. So, you know, Path of Radiance, I mean, Radiant Dawn has this weird thing where they just, like, lend you a couple, like, god tier units for a couple chapters and take them away. And there's units you get who aren't god tier and you don't see them till the end of the game.
Yeah, shout out to
there's-
Dawn Mod.
Come on, man. That's not cool. All right.
It's just, it
No,
makes for a really
that's-
cool finale, but, like, playing the game, I just had this feeling that it was just this, like, broken up experience, and I didn't have this feeling like I was building up my own army, and that's just how I feel about it. Also,
Yeah.
I tried playing Radiant Dawn recently on my original hardware on the Wii, right?
Wii?
I plugged in my
The
Wii,
Nintendo Wii?
the Nintendo Wii.
The Nintendo
Did you transfer?
Wii.
I was
Speedy, did you transfer?
no, I lost my memory card.
It's actually better not to transfer for the most part.
But God mod.
I hate how the transfer really doesn't add much to it. You're actually gimping yourself a little bit if you transfer in certain aspects, especially with Soth.
Let's be real, Chaz. When we were children, we all played Path of Radiance on easy anyways, so it was broken and didn't work. Come on. I mean,
yeah, that's right.
So
there's a glitch if you transfer your easy file, it won't.
Oh, that's terrible.
It just doesn't work. It doesn't. It doesn't screw up.
I mean, I guess that's kind of good because it's like
you don't deserve
teaching
it.
people like that's what you get. Don't play easy mode.
It just sucks. I wish the transfer did like more, but it kind of fucks up. It can fuck up your Soth, and it does. And it's just annoying. Like you have to in order for it to do anything, you have to cap.
Dude, why
stats?
Why couldn't Soth promote in Path of Radiance? I never got that. Like Volt.
I think it's a throwback. It's a throwback to Fire Emblem 1 where thieves can't promote.
Oh my, dude! I actually used. Oh, never mind. I'm getting.
This is why I didn't want to talk about the old games.
Thank you, Link.
Thieves and Armor Knights can't promote.
Before we get
Fire
too
Emblem
far
1.
from my point, what was I gonna say? Fuck.
You're talking about
saying.
the characters and building up your
Yeah,
army.
building up your own army. I
nothing.
feel like I just lost that aspect. That's just me.
Yeah, but that's okay because what you gained in replace of that is like an experience where you have to use all the units.
It is cool, but some of them are just like ridiculous, like Nyla.
and where bases matters are balanced in a way.
Yeah,
and it's not done. It's not done in a way like even I don't think fatigue is a shitty system, but it's done so much more elegantly and feels more natural when it's not a meter of fatigue. When you have to make even Meg, you have to make use of Meg.
Well, you don't have to use Fiona.
The game is so different.
Meg.
Yeah, you don't have to use Fiona. But like you don't have to use anyone. But it really is in your best
to utilize all the
interest
pieces
to
you
use
have.
all the units exactly, all the pieces, and it's not just about their fucking stupid growths and them growing out over circumventing the difficulty.
I
growing
could agree
over
with
it.
that.
You got to use everybody.
But who the fuck is Fiona?
And it's more balanced in that way.
All right, but oh, sorry, keep going.
I remember my point I was bringing up. It wasn't that part. It was I plugged in the original hardware, right? And I was on this chapter called Jeffrey's Rush or something.
Jeffrey's Charge.
Charge.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And
yes.
Best.
I
love
tried
that
to play that chapter because that's where my file on my Wii was, and it took me like 2 hours. Like with animations.
You know why?
There's so many green units.
You know why? Yeah. Now that's a lot.
There's a
the
reason-
ally units, that's right.
There's a reason why when people
That's okay.
let's play Radiant Dawn these days, they use a ROM hack that like turns the animations completely off. Like even with the animations off, the game is so slow. It's pretty hard to play these days. I had trouble going back to it.
There's one in part 3 that's even worse. The one on the hills.
That wasn't even the
with
most
Micaiah's
egregious
team.
example.
I hate that one. Oh, I hate that one.
Where they're all just
the
like
rocks one.
pushing boulders down.
That's the rocks one. It's the one where you push the boulders down.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Eat rock,
it's
get
a
it?
cool one because
Rock.
Rock, get it. That's Path of Radiance, isn't it?
in
That was
Path of Radiance, you're like, hey, I want to push the rocks in Radiant Dawn. They're like, okay, you can push the rocks now, but have fun pushing them for like 50 hours.
Yeah, that's a dark chapter. That's a dim dark chapter, right?
What
there.
about sorry, I know we're off track, but real quick, what about that chapter in Path of Radiance where you kill the boss at the end? He's like, oh shit, I should have used more hostages like babies. Damn. That's a real. That S tier writing right there.
Well, yeah, I like Radiant Dawn, but like, if I played them today,
dude.
I think I would rather play Path of Radiance.
I did. I'll be honest. Like coming off
Path of Radiance is slower
coming
than
off
Radiant
Path of
Dawn,
Radiance.
though.
No, it's not.
Okay, like
Yeah, it is.
coming off of Path of Radiance, I was really excited to play Radiant Dawn because of the sequel. I've never played Radiant Dawn at all. I've only played it once. I played it on just the normal mode, like not either, or just whatever, middle mode, whatever. And I did not enjoy it. I really didn't like. Okay, you got the Dawn Brigade, and like, so underwhelming. and then Toronio Jill shows up and it's like, oh thank God they're here. And Toronio's like, hey dude, I'm here to help you out. Actually, there's my flight. Gotta go. Peace. It's like, come back, dude, please. We need you. And he leaves. And then part 2 comes and it's just like, what's her name? Alicia. And Alicia's like, hey, I'm actually decent. It's like, thank you, Kanto. Bless. and then Joffrey shows up and he's like, hey guys, we're gonna play a great chapter. Here's all the ally units. It's great. And then Alicia's Gambit. Hard but challenging chapter. I really like that chapter.
good
It's
one.
actually one of my favorite chapters.
Yep.
Yeah.
But and then part 3 comes and it's like you get to play and then the cutscene. I'm like, oh, that's my boys right there. And then Shannon's like, hey guys, I'm great in this game. And I'm just like, here we go. We got the squad screamers here. And then it's like part 6, right? And then it's just like, oh hey, you're having fun with part 3. It's like, yeah, dude, the Grail Mercenaries, they're back. they're better than ever. It's like, great, you got to play Dawn Brigade now. Wait, what? Oh, also you're fighting Lagoo's characters. Oh, but they leveled up while I'm gone, right? No, they're the same. What? Oh, but don't worry, it's 5 of War too. What? No, you're joking, right? No, it's real. Go. It's like, oh my, what the fuck?
I love how authentic this experience is, because this was the exact same thing as Bisquick's video that he did.
Yeah, it was basically a
It's in a
Bisquick
nutshell,
video right
right,
there.
dude?
That was a complete
so funny.
Bisquick.
I don't care, bro.
I
That's in a
completely
nutshell.
agree.
But Bisquick,
And then-
Bisquick, think about it this
Wait.
way. Hold up. Hear me out. Think about it this way. If we didn't have to get back to the Dawn Brigade, we would have never gotten the man, the myth, the legend that he is, the
313
313
Archer. Dude,
Yeah.
bro, I got to that chapter, and honestly, like, I didn't enjoy that. I did the chokes and everything. I still didn't enjoy that chapter. I reached out to Chaz. Chaz was like, I love that chapter. I'm like,
That's one of my favorite ones.
what is wrong with you?
I don't know. That's one of my favorite chapters. Are we talking about the defense
Yes,
chapter
yes,
where
where the
you
Grill
get all the
mercenaries.
weapons?
Dude,
That's like when I fell in love with the
bro,
game.
That's
I
pretty
had
far
no
in, dude.
idea what was going to come, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I was just choking, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm doing it. This is pretty good, guys. And the Grail's like, Renolf's like, hey, should we just start moving up? It's like, sure, let's do it. I'm like, oh! They just it's the scariest thing. Okay, and then, the last thing I'm going to say about Radiant Dawn. Last thing. I also, okay, real talk, I did not like the tower at the end, because, like, you only get to bring 10 units, and it's like, yeah, you can bring your 10 strongest units, but, like, it sucks, because, like, what's kind of going off what Speedy said, you have build up all these other armies, and, like, it just sucks, because I feel like I'm leaving all these people behind, you know? Like,
But I
I don't
mean,
know.
you know, in a way, I get what they're trying to do with Radiant Dawn, right? Because Radiant Dawn was the direct repercussions of FE9, right? And so you get to experience how different armies are thriving after that. And I can appreciate that aspect, even if I did miss the army building that we had in all the basically every other Fire Emblem game. My problem with FE10 stands all in Micaiah. I think Micaiah is one of the worst lords.
All right, we're done.
Ever.
We're done. Stop.
Oh, come
I
on.
like Micaiah.
I
hate
think
the
Micaiah
blood
is
contract.
on the same level as Corrin in terms of Mary Sue.
Okay, I can agree. Micaiah's not a good character. I just like her because she's
I
cute.
like her.
blood
I like her as a
contract. I don't like the blood
character.
contract either.
and
Can
on
we
top
talk
of-
about that?
But I'm not a huge character person, but she was a lord. All lords are fucking do-gooders.
Thighs.
Mary
Well, what
Sue's.
about Hector, Chaz?
Sorry. I think they Hector's. You know,
What
I'm
about
talking
Ike,
about even
Chaz?
Sigurd. Even Sigurd is a Mary.
Yeah, definitely.
But at the,
Sue.
but at the very
it's
but at the very least,
it's just that
I felt Sigurd
Yeah.
had some things going for his character. Literally,
Yeah, he was a
Micaiah-
villain.
I don't think it was him. I think it was the world around
Yeah,
him.
and how he
that-
interacts with the world. Literally, Micaiah is just
Yeah.
like an original created character inserted into Path of Radiance, and was like, hey, what if Micaiah also had the bird of chaos next to her? And you know what? She can see into the fucking future. and she's a mage lord. We've never had that in the game before. And on top of that, she's like literally the goddess reincarnated. She can fuck. I fucking hate Micaiah so much.
I will say I know that I think they've done this before, right? But I did really like the third tier like promotions, like the overclass, or you know what I mean, like the
yeah. I got you.
I thought those classes were really cool, and it's like
Yep.
you got later, but
I just think while both of the games are really good, I just think Path of Radiance for me was a much more enjoyable experience.
Yes.
And Radiant Dawn was just slightly below that.
That's why I'm saying we should put Path of Radiance in S tier.
the last thing I want to touch is the blood contract. I know story's not a big
Yes,
thing, but
that one
I
too.
hated the blood
Oh my
contract
God.
so much, dude.
Like literally, her
I didn't mind it. I thought it
Micaiah's
was fine.
actions have zero consequences in the long term of things, but they're just so dumb. I
But it
could
also
never
just feels like-
understand them.
It's like it feels like a really forced way to just make them fight the Grail mercenaries.
Like, what is it? Like,
I don't think she's dumb. I just think she gets taken advantage of by
Like,
everybody.
no, like
I'm
there's
talking
Soth.
like
Soth is Micaiah's voice of reason. Soth is like,
Yes.
hey, Micaiah,
Yeah.
I don't think we should do
Yeah.
this. Micaiah's like, Soth,
Yeah.
you know what?
Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut your
Yeah.
mouth. Shut
No,
your mouth.
you're completely right.
So you better shut your mouth. or
She sees too much. She sees too much goodness in people, like even when she shouldn't.
Soph is literally just like, Lady Micaiah, I don't
Imagine
think we
being
should
realistic.
do this. And then Micaiah's like, Soph, if you don't shut your mouth, you're not going to get some action later, okay?
What's it called? I think Radiant Dawn is my favorite mechanically, just because of how the emphasis isn't on growth; it's on the units you have at your disposal.
I never thought
it's
about
on
that, but I
bases.
like that.
You're able to customize your units more than anybody else. You can put whatever fucking stupid skills. Take off the skill that doesn't kill anyone off Valencia.
That's true.
Put it on somebody else.
Can you do that in Path of Radiance too?
It's different.
It's
Not
it's
as
more limited.
Yeah, it's not as evolved. Radiant Dawn's
okay.
more
Yeah.
advanced
I can
mechanically
agree.
than Path of Radiance.
It despite it being a linear game, it feels like an open map in the fact that you just are creating these absolute godly broken units that go past the highest class and then go past that even. You give them, I love that feeling. It shows you can get that experience of creating gods and still not have the game break. You circumvent the whole thing. My favorite part is the support system because
you don't like support conversations.
It's the best mechanic. Well, it's not just that. I would like the support. I would obviously love it if the support conversations were more tailored towards certain units. But I think mechanically, it's the best iteration. It has the most customization, and it's not just a fucking stat to grind. You need to plan around your horoscopes and whatnot. That's why I like the supports in Radiant Dawn so much, because it's not just like pick a unit, everyone has an A above their head, like in
I
Fates
hate
and
supports in
whatnot.
the newer
It
games.
became a static round.
They should definitely limit the amount of supports you're allowed to do.
Yep.
100%.
For sure.
I think we can
For
all
sure.
agree on that.
But I like that it's so meaningful and impactful in Radiant Dawn because you can just have 2 people support. That's it. But you can tailor that to how you want to. The support will be tailored to how you want it to be, depending on who you pair with. I love that.
So we got to push for a
I agree.
decision
I
because
think
we're taking a long time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we are.
But
yeah, it's okay.
we still
Okay,
have a
can
lot
we
of
all
games to get
agree that
through.
it's either S or A?
Yes.
Radiant
Yeah.
Dawn?
Yeah,
So are
yeah.
we agreeing that Radiant Dawn is above Path of Radiance? Because I disagree.
I think they're equal.
I think it's below. No, I don't think it's below.
I think it's below.
I think they're at least.
I think they're equal too.
No,
I think
they're
I
equal
think it's.
too.
I think Chaz and I think it's better, and I think you guys think it's worse. So I believe it's fair.
Well, Jay
if we
thinks
go
it's better,
halfway and
too.
We put them at the same thing.
Speedy is neutral Switzerland.
Okay. So we're cool with this. Radiant Dawn being at the top, Path of Radiance being just below. I know we just said we make them equal, but I'm just wondering if we do make them equal, are we gonna have any S tiers? Like, is there even a point to an S? It's not gonna be FE4. I'm not letting you do that.
Tellius, best game.
All right, let's put it like that.
Well,
for now.
let's put them there for now, and then we can
Okay.
rank.
So you
stuff
want
as
to
we go.
like this, but they're gonna be treated as equal.
All right, how about we talk about FE4 last, because
Okay,
Sure.
I'm fine with that.
The big one.
Where do you guys want to go next? Do you want to do 3 houses, or you want to save that for the last 2?
Let's do Echoes.
Okay.
Let's see how that goes.
I'll start.
I feel like we touched on that a little bit before, but we never really got too deep into it.
I
so
personally
might as well.
really hated Echoes.
I really enjoyed it.
I really couldn't stand it.
Yeah, I would say C.
Yeah.
I say it's the best open map Fire Emblem. I think it's better than Sacred Stones by a long
don't.
shot, but yeah, that's me. I think that Sacred Stone should be literally the
You've
bottom.
established that. It's not.
I mean,
it's not.
I think the game looks, it's beautiful.
It's the
soundtrack is great.
gorgeous.
But it's the gameplay.
Yeah.
You get to the Cantors that are just like, I'm gonna spawn 1,000,000
It's
Draco
so
Knights,
tedious to
whatever.
play. And then the
I'm just-
time
and, like,
wheel.
Act 4. I'm just in Act
Yeah.
4, just crawling in the swamp. Like, I really don't want to be here right now.
The turn wheel works.
Turn wheel's
in this
cool.
game,
It
though.
Completely,
The turn wheel is
it completely
welcomed in
kills
this
any
game 'cause there's-
tension.
Yeah.
Like, I did not feel threatened
But
at
I think
all
it's-
because I could just reset the game like at the touch of a button, and it was just like using save states. It's just it completely ruined the experience for me. The maps were really boring. They were all just like open, like there was a poison swamp chapter, whatever. The only map I really liked was the one with Delthea, where
Filthy. Oh, yeah, the bridge. The
Yeah,
sluice
that
gate.
one was a
Sluice
good
gate.
map.
Yeah.
and I guess
That was a
the
good one.
final one was okay.
It has a few really, really good maps, and then the rest are very bad.
Yeah,
yeah, I just
They're
think
just like,
Yeah.
But that's how the original was.
yeah,
So can you
yeah.
really
You can't
play
it was
them?
it wasn't tailored around a strategic map
No,
based
yeah,
design.
you
It's an
can't-
Yeah.
it's an RPG. It's a
can't-
fucking. It's more about building up your army, grinding them up to a point where you
I think
can power through the
as
game.
a remake, I think they did it like fantastic job. But I feel like as like a game,
I would, if this was my tier list, I didn't play Shadow Dragon to completion, but I would put it below both these Fates entries. But that's just me. So if you guys are cool with putting it in C,
12 personally.
you put it where?
I would put it at the top of C. I honestly prefer it to Conquest.
Okay.
I don't like it more than Sacred Stones. But that's my personal tier list.
Yeah, I feel
I can
it.
I can agree with it being C tier.
C's fine.
But let me just reiterate this before everyone rips me apart for hating on Echoes. Most beautiful game in the series. The voice acting was amazing.
I think I've said before, I think it has the best presentation of any video game ever made.
Made.
I might agree. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's what every Fire Emblem should aspire to look like. I think presentation-wise, tonality, everything.
Well,
For sure.
I'll throw this in the fire for you. Animations need to look like Game Boy Advance animations again.
That's true. I missed the 2D.
Nothing will ever.
I missed the circus acts that were
That's
pretty
the
cool.
best.
But just the art and the voice acting and the music, that package alone, and the UI, it was just gorgeous.
I think the voice acting is what really saved Echoes for me. Because I
100%.
think
Yeah.
a character
I actually
like
listened to
Berkut-
the supports. Like I sat through and put it on auto. That's how good it was.
Like a character like Berkut would have
Yeah.
just been another fucking I'm bad guy number 3.
Me, bad guy.
But then because but because he had the voice actor on top of it, I could feel sympathetic towards him.
No,
You know?
it was awesome.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't fun to play.
And Zerk has a video about Berkut that is actually really, really good. Talking about foil and Berkut being the foil to Alm, that he has everything. He has the woman that he loves. He has a position of power. He has, it was a really good one. And puts Rhea, what's her name? Ray? What's her name?
Renea? Oh.
Rhea?
Renea. Too much Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Renea being a foil to
Celica?
To Celica, yeah, because they're happy and in love, and she'll do anything for him, and Celica is kind of a bitch.
True. No fighting.
Anyways, that was a good video.
It was. That one.
Bullshit.
That's like my favorite Zerk video.
Yeah.
Also, I don't value story very much, but Echo's story actually made me feel like I had a purpose moving through the campaign.
Yes, I agree.
At least the first third.
I
the first two. The first
story
2/3.
too much.
I liked it better than any of the GBA entries.
Look, it's
The
good.
first third was
It's
sick.
good. Like honestly, I did not see the Rudolph plot twist coming.
Yeah,
so
neither
for
did
me,
I.
Like that chapter was
Yeah.
pretty huge. Like it has
the
its
music, too.
moments. Oh, the music's fantastic. True.
Okay.
If there's one thing Fire Emblem does consistently very well, it's music. I think we can all probably agree on
Chaz
this.
doesn't like FE7 apparently, but we can all agree.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it does music well. I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't say that Fire Emblem is known for its music though. Like when I was getting into the series, I was like, is this really going to be my favorite series? The music isn't even that that amazing. I don't know. Now I changed my mind. But at the same time,
I mean, you're consistently guaranteed to have at least great music in Fire Emblem. It doesn't have to be amazing, but you're always going to get good music.
Yes, agreed. And that's why Echoes is a C.
Yeah.
Anyone else have anything to say about Echoes?
I can get beyond C.
All right, so is this fine with everybody so far?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Because we all got to agree at the end of the day, which is going to be tough with FE4 coming around the corner.
It's impossible. It's impossible, but I think we're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
You guys are doing all the explanations. I'm just gonna leech off what you guys say.
Has anyone played Gaiden?
Gaiden sucks. Gaiden's
fun
actually.
fact. Wait, technically, okay, I don't like to say this because people don't really care, but technically, Gaiden was the first Fire Emblem game I ever played on my grandma's Famicom, like a bunch of years ago.
So you're the true elitist.
No, dude, I didn't understand anything. I never got past the first part. I didn't know what the hell was going on. But
See, this is why I was gonna use the older entries on the list, because I think that honestly, Echoes supplants Gaiden in every way possible, whereas Shadow Dragon and New Mystery of the Emblem doesn't do that. There's fundamentally different experiences.
So where would you put Gaiden?
I wouldn't
not
put it
on the
list
tier
at all.
list. Yeah,
exactly. I would just get rid of it. It doesn't need to be existing anymore.
Okay, I'll leave it down here.
It's completely supplanted, and there's no you'll get a.
There's no value in going back.
Experience.
You should just play Echoes, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
F tier.
Exactly.
F tier. Okay.
Old Valbar.
All right, so let's move on.
Let's
do Thracia.
Oh, okay.
Or do you want to do Thracia in your genealogy?
No. It's cool.
I think Thracia.
I put Thracia. I put Thracia below Tellius, but above
Alib.
Above
D tier.
Alib.
D tier. It's too hard for me.
Top of B, not an A.
All right,
Yeah,
let's
I
hear
think
some
it's top
explanations.
B.
I personally, I'm only on chapter 4 in this game, so you're gonna have to make the decision here.
All right,
I think Chaz should start because he's been playing the shit out of this game recently.
Yeah, I love this game very much. I think that tone, story, music, presentation, graphics, gameplay, it's the best. And it's so good that literally every game that came out after is just a fucking knockoff of this game. Until Three Houses came out, every single game, you got Binding Blade 2, about maybe Awakening isn't really a knockoff anymore. It really deviated, but Elib, Sacred Stones, Tellius, they're all just, they take the gameplay that Thracia built and just copy it. And anyways, it's a really good game. It has amazing writing. The presentation and tone is just spot on. It's a game that's balanced, not only in the fact that you're dealing with a point-by-point short-term strategy, but there's a balance in the long-term strategy with the scrolls that you pass around, so you're actually like going out of your way to deviate from your short-term strategy to get the proper gains, but the caps are so low that it really doesn't even fucking matter in the first place. Just everything is very, very balanced. The problem with it, in my opinion, is that some of the prerequisites for Gaiden chapters for extra characters aren't forecasted well and are so obtuse that you would never find them playing it as it's in a bubble. You would never find them on your
12x. Please kill me trying to get that one.
No, you would not even that. It's not even that. It's like you would never get Dagda. You would never get Tanya if you were not playing this game with a guide. You would never know to hold the boss and then siege the throne while holding the boss. There's no explanation for that. You would never know to siege and hold Salem. You would hold him and then release him, and then you wouldn't get the Gaiden chapter. Nobody would do that. Nobody would just hold the fucking boss because, oh, I'm just gonna hold him because I'm a nice guy the whole entire time. No, I'm gonna fucking release him. And the map design is fucking amazing in this game, by the way. The map design, some of the best fucking maps in the series.
Would you put it above Conquest map design wise?
They're different. It's different. I think I would, honestly. They're different. They're so different. But they're both great. But the problem with me is that I just don't like experiences that are too obtuse. I like that there's all these hidden secrets and shit like that, but there's just too many really, really obtuse. That's why I like Fire Emblem 6 so much, is that the Gaidens in Fire Emblem 6, despite the fact that you have to get them to get the true ending, they're at least clear enough that it's always, don't let the good guys die. Do the map in a certain amount of turns and quickly. Don't dilly-dally and don't let the good guys die. That's what it always. It's not even telegraphed. It's just like the way you'd want to play. You'd want to save everybody and you want to do the game fast. So getting the guidance isn't. While people complain about the Gaiden chapters in 6, and they're fucking terrible chapters in themselves, but at least they make sense in the way you're supposed to unlock them. In this one, you'll fucking kill yourself.
But does it take away from the experience if you don't do these obtuse things?
I think it does take away from the experience, to be honest with you.
You're going to have major FOMO if you know that there's Gaiden chapters and then you find yourself jumping in between them and you're trying to play it blind and you're like, hey, how come I didn't unlock this? And then you go back and look like, holy shit, I had to do that?
Right. I feel
like it's cool if they told you what to do.
Because at first I was going to compare it to FE4 with like finding the Brave Axe on Lex and stuff, or like the Pursuit Ring. But those things are like, they don't take away from the experience. It's just like little bonus.
No, exactly. No, this one does.
No, they don't. You could miss out on your dancer. The one dancer. You could miss out on units that you've been using for half the game that you'll never get back. You can step on a warp tile and go to a fucking... You can miss out on warp staffs. You can miss out on so much...
You can actually miss out on some story tidbits if you don't get the last X chapter, 24X. That one's a huge... Yeah. It ties in with Genealogy, which is like they're both intertwined in the same world. So you do miss out on some significant stuff.
But I will say, if you don't do that chapter and you keep on going, you can still make the connection. If you know what I mean, you will still make. You can still. I didn't make the connection until I went back and did it, because I went through. I was like, I don't need to do this fucking chapter.
Well, there's also 4X, I think, that has a few different things as well. No,
Asvel. But that's the thing. 4X isn't hard to get. 4X is not. It's not a difficult one. It's not something that's like, oh, I have to do this and do. No, it's save the villagers, put them in their houses. Yep. That's it. Same with 2X. It's just save the villages. That's it. Do it in a certain amount of turns. I really enjoy this game. I really, really, really like this game a lot. It's just like it's got so much shit that I don't agree gameplay wise. You know, there's like some Gaiden chapters that are like the prison chapter, which is pretty cool. That the fact that like maybe you have a unit that gets captured, that's a pretty high possibility that will happen throughout your gameplay, and you'll never get them back. And then there's this chapter that you can get them back that only unlocks if you have somebody captured throughout the entirety of the game. Those are really cool tidbits that are really fun to figure out for yourself. But you'll never hold the boss, capture a boss. Then it's hard enough to capture a boss, but to capture the boss and then just fucking hold them the entire.
It's a bit ridiculous.
Chapter,
That's what
like
you're
who?
saying.
Yeah, who would do that?
All right, so I know Jay has some qualms about this game.
I don't like Thracia. I mean, on top of the Gaiden chapters, like, I can understand why they did that, right? Because in the era that it came out in, right, it was like supposed to be one of those rent and play, and they want you to rent that game as much as fucking possible in order to maximize on profit. I understand that, so I can be okay with the Gaiden chapters being really freaking weird because it gets discussion between you and your friends. That's how I would imagine it, right? Dude, if you hold this boss, did you know, like, for the entire chapter,
yeah, no,
whatever,
and you can beat the game without them for sure. You can do it with
like,
it's just you're missing out on more shit than just a fucking pursuit ring, which nobody really needs in the first place.
It creates discussion between you and your friends, and I can appreciate that aspect, at least for the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then now that I'm looking back at it, right, I just think I think that's super tedious. I think a lot of the mechanics, I know a lot of people like capturing. I don't like capturing at all. I get the thematic thing that goes behind it. I just didn't like it. I just thought it was poor. I did like movement stars. I did like the dismount mechanic, but I did not like in the early game where you can miss staffs. How are you gonna miss a staff? Like, here, let me heal you. Oops, I slipped. You know, like, I don't like that.
You didn't concentrate hard enough.
Yeah. You don't have a high enough skill. You're not
Please!
skillful enough with your
I'm
staff.
dying over here.
Think of it this way, Jay. When you miss a staff cast, it's basically like you're screwing up the spell incantation. I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? Because you don't have a high enough magic or skill.
But to me, it's just so dumb. Like, I don't get how you can. I just don't get how you can miss healing. Like, whoops! I missed raising my torch staff. You know. Like,
I just find it like really funny. Like, you just have someone like crawling into base camp, like, "Please, medic, I'm dying!" And it's just like, "Yeah, I got you," and it just misses. Like, oh, shit, better luck next time,
Honestly, when it comes down to it, there's sometimes the missing is good. Sometimes, like, for Tina is the person who's like notorious for missing because she only has 2 skill, or when she starts out 2 or 3, and you need to have 10 skill in order to never miss. But when you use one of her staffs, which is very rare and gives tons of XP, if it misses, you still get the XP. So in some ways, it's pretty.
Burn a use. Is that what's going on?
You don't burn a use, and she has really high action stars. Anyways, I like the capture mechanic because it's a risk reward system.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I will concede to the fact that I am a minority in that factor. I know plenty of people who like the capture mechanic. I wasn't a fan of it. I just felt the game was too. When I personally played it, I've only played through Thracia once, and on the jank ass in America patch, whatever. So I can't. I don't feel like I gave it a big enough chance. So I can concede a lot of facts on this, right? But I just felt like capturing was just too prevalent of a mechanic. When I played it without a guide. I like playing my first Fire Emblem game without a guide, and I just felt capturing was too prevalent of a mechanic when I played it. And also playing Thracia 776 without any information going into the game is like, it's like cock and ball torture. It's not fun.
Yeah. I understand that. That all makes sense. I don't like the fact that it's such a non-guide friendly game.
Yeah.
And I like games that you can experience without a guide, without the fucking internet crawling down your throat telling you how to fucking play the game.
And so but I get it. I get why they did it that way, right? It's just I can't agree with it. You know?
Yeah. I saw that.
Don't worry about it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, I've been actively kind of avoiding like any Thracia content because I want to jump into the game someday blind. I know, like, it's like you need a guide, but, like, you know, I'm a little masochistic. You know, I just kind of
you don't really need a guide.
I want to die a little bit.
What you should look up is the Gaiden chapter requirements. That's what you should look up. Otherwise, don't look anything else up.
But I will say though,
Yeah, you don't.
I will say though that like despite its flaws, I genuinely really like Leaf. I think he's my favorite lord in like Fire Emblem.
The writing in this game is the best. In my opinion, the writing in this game is fantastic. You get so much character from the littlest lines. Like right now, I'm playing through with Miranda, a character that almost nobody fucking uses because not only is her requirement for recruitment so obtuse, but she's on a route that nobody likes to play because it's filled with forests and warp tiles. So her recruitment is literally put Leaf on a castle and have him wait.
That's like Castlevania 2 shit.
But a castle... Yeah, exactly. And then she shows up the next time. Like, you would never have Leaf go on this stupid castle because it's an escape chapter. Anyways, even she has so much character in just this few amount of lines she says in dialogue. I've been reading up on all the characters because a lot of people like to, like, you know, they zoom in on one line and they talk about what it could possibly mean, and talk about the context and the, what do you call it? The subtext of everything they're saying. I just love the writing in this game. There's so much weight in the tone is perfect. The music is great. The battle themes are so fucking good. My favorite battle themes, boss themes. I think it overuses they're not bad map themes, but as video game music, they fail because they're not listenable. In a way that like there's one map that goes and it's a great composition, but it's not a great composition to listen to like 100 times.
And that's why you stream with your music off. Like you play your own. Yeah, that
is why I stream with my music off with some chapters. But there's some map chapters like the ones you all know. Like that's a fucking great one. And then there's another one. There's some really, really good music, and I think this one's underrated in the music department for sure.
Okay.
I think it blows Genealogy away in the boss themes for sure, not the map themes though.
Nah, we got Arvis'
I like
theme
this
in
one.
Genealogy. Nothing supplants that.
Come on, that's okay.
It's me. I have to say it. If I don't say it, people are gonna get mad at me. So I have to say it.
I'll take Verd over Arvis. His I used that at the beginning of my Genealogy music or video because I love that song so much.
Hang on, I'm gonna book a flight to New York. 1 second.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. I'm about to get burned.
Take my word
I think
where are we putting Thracia?
Yeah.
I think unless
it's
Bis, you want Bis kind of said.
Yeah, B is fine.
What?
You kind of spoke
B is
your piece.
okay. I would put it.
I have never touched this game. I have literally.
I think
High B, I would say.
High B.
I would put it. I would put it up in A. I would put it up in A. I would put it honestly with Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn, but everybody wants to put it in B, so I'll concede.
Well, Link,
with
do you
B,
think FE7 is better than Thracia?
No, I think Thracia is better
I'm asking
than FE7.
Link because I know what you think.
Oh.
No, I definitely. I actually haven't given. This has been basically the Chazari LLC show for the discussion of Thracia.
Yeah.
But
yeah, feel free to chime in. Sorry, Link.
I think it's just a solid Fire Emblem game, like all round. I think in terms of gameplay, it does. I'm surprised no one's mentioned the Fog of War yet, guys. Isn't the Fog of War your favorite mechanic in this game? Like, come on.
Well, I'll tell you.
No, what do you mean?
I don't like it. I know you're being sarcastic.
I'm being sarcastic.
But I think Thracia maps are just so straightforward, or at least most of them are so straightforward that like Fog of War never really bothered me, particularly in this game, except one map. I don't remember which one it was.
I think we know which. I think we know which one.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it was, but that one.
Not 24X. No, the one with Salem.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh god, that one. I just remember not having a good time with that one.
It's there's ways to cheese it and there's ways to just play it. Like sometimes you can't play it like that because I didn't have enough warps.
Reinhardt's like such a pushover because you can berserk him, whatever. But I did it without it.
Yeah.
And I just remember that chapter in particular being so difficult because
you're fighting against 19 leadership stars stacked together. 19. That's a 57% hit and avoid for the enemy.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing and you're playing it blind, it is a very unforgiving game to do. If you're like planning ahead and you know what's coming, obviously you can trivialize it. But
yeah, that's why Thracia just
people come.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I just felt that's the reason why I felt like Thracia just wasn't a good experience for me.
Because you're judging it as if you're playing it blind for the first time.
Well, I can only
But
judge it that way.
It
because I've
ages
only
like
played
fine
it.
wine. On
You should. I think
that's a good thing.
Yeah. That's the design philosophy of these games is you play them blind, you miss all this shit, but you get a unique experience, and it encourages you to replay the game. You don't need fucking multiple pass. You don't need a post game. You want the game itself to be replayable because it's that fucking good.
Does anyone feel like he's still firing shots at Sacred Stones?
I always
I thought he was
am.
talking about Three Houses.
Fuck Sacred
That's why I did
Stones.
that.
Yeah.
No, it's
yeah,
definitely
that too.
Sacred Stones. I get where he's going. I know, Chaz. I know you too well at this point.
So are
You're
we
not
gonna
kidding.
talk
Yeah,
about
you do. Yeah.
Binding
Let's
Blade.
yeah. So we'll leave Thracia at B. I'm deferring to you guys.
Okay, I'm happy with B.
Yeah,
I'm
fine
happy
by
with
me.
B.
Okay. Binding
Binding
Blade. This is
Blade.
Jay's favorite game.
This is my.
Yeah, I think we should do Awakening first.
Okay, I
Awakening
forgot about
first?
Awakening.
No?
I like Jay. I like
fuck?
Binding Blade more than I like. Okay, fine.
Sorry, we're
do
going to
Awakening.
Awakening, guys, because I forgot it existed.
D.
I've never played Awakening, but I'm gonna say D.
Well, what do you know,
Because I
Chaz?
hate.
This is
I
Chaz knows
played to the
everything.
this
third
is the
chapter
game
and
that
I was like,
saved
this isn't
the
for me.
series.
Oh
What?
my
Oh.
god!
Let's not get into
Yeah.
that. How about we not get into
Yeah.
that?
I think Awakening is end of C.
Okay. Am I the only person who actually like kind of likes this game?
Yes.
Okay. Let me defend
I
it.
like
No
a third of it.
no
I'll,
hesitation.
Speedy,
No
I'll walk
hesitation.
down that road with you
Uh-huh.
a third of the way.
Okay, so once you get to the Sayri plot, it falls off.
I'm just gonna say this because I love to say this phrase. I think Awakening was doing so well up until a certain point, and then it took a dive. If you know what
Okay,
I'm saying.
I know what you mean. I get what you mean.
Yeah, dude, I'm with Link on this one, dude. The part with Grand Girl, that's great. And then the part with like Mustafa you fight in the rain,
Yeah, that was one of the strongest moments in the game.
and then you get to Valm, and then Walhart's there, and it's just like,
What's
Okay.
going on?
What
Why is there a
this shit? What
lobster
are we
in
doing?
Samurais? What's
What are we
happening?
doing? What is happening?
My-
I didn't like the gameplay either.
My
Yeah, well,
Like,
I
Go ahead, Jay.
actually like Awakening, just not for the game though. I felt like Awakening was just more like a love letter to the entire franchise.
I can agree.
But then
Mhm.
everything else to me just felt flat. So
Okay. Can I give? All right, go ahead, Bis, if you want to say something. I'll defend it last, I guess, because it seems like I'm the only person who actually likes this game.
It's just
Haha.
like,
Go ahead.
I played. I don't know.
Welcome
I played
to my
it, like,
world.
I felt like it was just one of those like Robin, like and you got Gale for it, like.
So it's a
I don't know,
broken
like-
experience, is what you're saying.
I guess like yeah, you can you can play with a whole army, but like I literally just steamrolled the entire thing with Robin. I'm not trying to say like oh it's too easy or anything like that. It's just like I didn't enjoy it. Like I played Awakening actually after Fates, and it was like $20 or something.
Oh,
and
that's
I
your
just picked it
problem.
up.
Because Fates,
Well,
Fates
just to
completely.
just
go
to say,
ahead.
I don't know. Like the whole way through, like I liked the first part. Like
Yeah.
like Link said, up until a Gangrel, like I could get behind the story. I thought everything was like pretty sound, and like I just never was a big fan. But after the dive, the dive, we're calling it the dive. I don't know. I lost interest. It like
No, I
didn't have a
agree.
motivation or
The
reason to play
plot,
anymore.
the plot completely went off course after that point.
It plummeted to its death.
Yes.
The plot.
Okay.
It was
Can we stop?
Link,
You're making
terrible.
me feel bad.
You're terrible.
Chaz, do you have anything to say before I start, or do you have absolutely nothing to add?
yeah, I was gonna say that when I talk shit about open map games, I'm not talking shit about easy games because difficulty is so subjective.
Yeah.
I'm talking about mechanics making sense in the context of the game, and this game, from what I've seen, just throws everything out the fucking
does.
window, and just I haven't played
You're
it.
you're not wrong.
because I'm an
Because
elitist.
the game's pretty much the parrot mechanic's broken too. Like
Yeah.
from the get go.
There's nothing wrong with a game being easy. I like easy games. Like there's nothing wrong. It's just like I get put to sleep if I don't feel like I'm being rewarded in the right way.
I kind of want to hear Speedy's thesis that he wrote in defense of Awakening.
I did not write a
let's-
thesis. It's probably gonna be a bad argument.
Lucina, dude, Lucina's a great
Lucina
character.
is the best character in the series,
and
and that's why Awakening. No, I'm just
what
kidding.
about Gregor?
I'm Gregor.
Gregor smash.
Okay,
Gregor's the best
Awakening.
character.
Awakening starts strong. I think we could kind of agree with that, right?
Yeah,
Maybe,
no,
maybe
I-
we all don't. And
I can jive to that.
it's just, it might not be the most. It's not the most challenging game, like on the normal and hard difficulties. Let's say, I played this on hard the first time I ever picked it up, and it wasn't a challenge at all. But like, it was fun to play. Like, it was fun to watch my characters level up. I didn't even know there were child units, so once I got like an S support and there was a child unit, it was like a mechanic that was brand new to me. I didn't play FE4 at the time, right? But it was just like, it was like, oh my god, like I can like pick the parents and like get my own units. You could there's so much customizations with all the characters you could do. You can reclass units to pretty much anything you want. Like, there's some limitations, but like, you have like so much freedom in this game. So while it's not a fun classical Fire Emblem experience, like managing resources and trying to use strategy, as an RPG on a grid, as Chaz would say it, I think it's a fun game.
Yeah, but the problem is that we're judging them based on other Fire Emblem games.
And that's why I'm gonna say that this game, I honestly would rather play Awakening over Echoes again. I would put it somewhere in C tier. That's how I would judge it, because I think it's above Fates, above Birthright and Revelation.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd rather crawl in the swamps than play Awakening again.
Yeah, I don't want to play Echoes again.
That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
I actually would play Awakening over Echoes again, too.
I wouldn't put it above Echoes personally. I liked Echoes just a little bit more than Awakening. I was really, really enjoying Awakening for the first part of it, and then
it took the dive. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It fell.
So are we cool with placing it here then?
Yes,
I'll concede this because I'm the only person who actually wants to defend this game.
Wait, maybe we could swap around Echoes and Awakening.
Seriously?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the guy who hasn't played Awakening, but I feel like it seems like that's what it's coming down to.
Speedy just did a little fist bump. Speedy just did a little fist bump.
Well, everyone's saying Echoes should be above Awakening.
No, I personally would rather play Awakening over Echoes too.
Jay agrees with me then.
Because I just think Echoes is like...
I would rather play...
No, I just felt Echoes was a one and done kind of game for me.
I never want to go back.
Like, I enjoyed Echoes, I enjoyed its story, but it's a one and done game for me. I can't... Like, unless I guess you buy the Villager, like, DLC stuff, but I didn't, so...
Like, the way I see it, Awakening's pretty much like Sacred Stones Part 2 to me. Like, I do think Sacred Stones is more rewarding to play, but like they're pretty much identical and they're both enjoyable to play for me. That's just me.
I can get behind that. I can get behind, like, yeah.
But if you guys want to put it down to C, I would put it above Echoes.
I think it's C. I don't think it's as good as Sacred Stones.
I think it's C.
I'm down putting Awakening in place of Sacred Stones.
Putting Sacred Stones in D.
Putting Sacred Stones down in C.
Chaz wants to
D.
pretend Sacred Stones didn't even exist. Put it in F tier.
Why do you hate it so much? It's fine. You explained yourself. All right, so Link and Bisquick, are you cool with putting this above Echoes? Because it's 3-2 right now. Even though Chaz doesn't really have a good opinion.
On my,
I've never played a Fire Emblem game. So.
on my personal tier list, I have Echoes and Awakening 8 and 9. So to me, they're like
pretty much interchangeable. Whatever. Okay, I feel you. So are we still saying Echoes is above New Mystery?
That's a no. I don't think. That's hard.
Echoes below New Mystery.
Dude, honestly, just put Echoes in D. Fuck that game. Honestly, no.
I think it's fine. Yeah, I think that's good right there.
This is okay with you?
Keep it like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we? What game do you want to tackle next?
Binding Blade.
I mean, we already placed that.
Yes.
I like Binding.
Yes.
Listen, Binding Blade is like. So for me, like, I know the map design of Binding Blade isn't great. There's some fantastic maps.
Like Arcadia.
Not gonna lie. Yeah. Okay. Well, listen. The Gaiden maps in Fire Emblem 6 are probably the worst maps in all of Fire Emblem, in my opinion. They're so bad, and I know that Fire Emblem 7 does everything that Fire Emblem 6 does, but better. But for some reason, I liked Fire Emblem 6 way more than Fire Emblem 7. I still like...
Can we talk about same turn reinforcements?
I love same turn reinforcements.
I don't...
What?
You're a masochist. They're fucking masochists, dude. They're crazy. Okay. Speedy, they're crazy. We're the last two, bro. These guys are fucking crazy, dude.
I say fundamentally, though, that like the one thing that Fire Emblem 6 does have, in my opinion, over Fire Emblem 7 is... or two things, is the music. I think the soundtrack is one of the best in the series.
They're identical to me, to be honest.
Well,
no.
And it just feels the most the most Fire Emblem. Okay. I guess because it's like the most like coming off of Kaga and it's literally just trying to be.
It's just Shadow Dragon
mimic the
reskin.
Kaga.
That's what it is to me.
The music.
That's what they say.
The music that plays like in the temple, like near the end, where you're fighting like the Manichees.
Okay,
so good.
Okay, when I rank my top 3 favorite games of all time, it's Heart Gold Soul Silver, Final Fantasy Tactics A2, and FE6. The reason why I love FE6 so much is because there's just so many mechanics. The game's fundamentally broken. I cannot deny that, okay? But because the game's so fundamentally broken, there's just so many things that you can exploit and explore. And that's like that's like why I
talking about FE6?
Yeah.
What's fundamentally broken about FE6?
You could definitely just replace FE6 for Thracia with what you just said.
I guess so.
Surprises
That is
me.
true. But the difference is that I didn't have a good first experience with Thracia. I will go back and play it, especially now that there's a new English patch. It's like really fucking good.
Guys, I DM'd Mangs, and he knows what the next remake is. He actually told me what it is, because he trusts me so much.
Yeah, Mungs and Mucka.
No, I'm just it was Mungs and Mucka.
Mungs and Mucka.
Wait.
Nice.
He does know what it is, doesn't he?
He's not going to tell anybody.
Goose told me.
Yeah.
He doesn't know for sure though. It's not confirmed, but he has some strong evidence.
You could just do Horse Emblem and FE6 and basically just breeze through the game and break the game pretty much. Like,
shout out to my boy Percival.
You could basically just use Melody solo in hard mode and break the game. And then on a fundamental level too, you can buy as many boots as you want and just make a Yodel that can walk like 30 spaces in a single.
If you know about the secret shop.
Yeah, you can do that. You can also
dude, there's no way if you don't look it up that you're gonna find that fucking thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying from the experiences that I have, FE6 is fundamentally a broken game. And so I don't think
you can't promote thieves.
I don't think it's an S tier game. I don't think it's an A tier game either. But it's my favorite Fire Emblem.
I would put it below 7.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, that's just my opinion that I like it more than 7.
I like it more than 7.
If I'm gonna play, if I had a choice, I'm gonna go places.
Like I think 6 also had a better like building blocks for its world too, because you're actually exploring all of Elite.
I can agree.
Yeah, that's true.
And the thing I really did like about 6 was how many expendable characters there were.
So there was replayability there.
Exactly. No, I'm not even saying that as sarcasm. Like I really enjoy doing like subsequent playthroughs using characters I'd never even touched. It's a lot of fun.
I heard Echidna got in Heroes.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick,
Echidna's
dude.
there.
Echidna's was probably the only pre-promote I've ever actually used in my life.
Yeah.
But Percival's on the banner too.
Pretty cool. I thought Echidna was a guy.
Like I know Speedy like streamed FE6 and he used all the armored knights. Like that I felt like that kind of like flexibility and freedom is like
it was fun as hell.
Like
I
really
love doing
fun to
that.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can do that in almost every Fire Emblem game.
I like that the Lord was kind of this underdog, and like a lot of people are like, "Oh, Roy sucks. Like he's garbage. Like he's no Ike or whatever or Sigurd or whatever." But I kind of like that Roy, like he's this kid. Like he's this like it's really hard in the beginning, and like his promotion's kind of late, but like when he gets the Binding Blade later, like I feel like it really pays off when you just see him go around just nuke like these Manichees,
It just happens.
Like
too
it
late.
only has 20 uses, and it has 20 uses
because it comes
like,
to a certain point where you can't even use him anymore if you max him out. It's like there's no point in using him.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, his promotion.
He's also not that great either.
He's not. He's pretty.
It's just a weapon.
Mediocre.
Like he barely changes too, but like.
I just think FE7's a better package.
I can appreciate Roy as his character. Like he's trying so like suddenly like it's really scary to just have this position
thrust
that
upon you.
He's like and like Jesus.
Yeah, no, I 100% get it. I think FE6 will probably, if I probably played more Thracia 776, they'd probably be the same place for me.
FE6 also has major story flaws. Like if you're gonna go for the true ending, what the hell is it done? Like.
Yeah, that was kind of half-assed.
Yeah.
It's not even Idun isn't even that hard of a boss either.
Well, she would have been if we had the real one in the game.
I don't even know.
I don't know
what
if
you're
you guys
talking
had seen that, but her real data is actually there.
Oh.
She still gets one-rounded by Roy, but no other character can really touch her.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
so yeah, I guess we're putting it in B below
I think
Thracia.
it probably is below Thracia.
I agree.
Is it?
And then there's
Well,
Sakai, like
I
Ilya.
know.
I would definitely say it's below Thracia.
Do you
I
guys?
don't
would say it's
wait,
below Thracia.
What would you guys?
Yeah.
What do you guys prefer, like the Ilya or Sakai
Sakai.
for the route split? Sakai.
I like Sakai. I actually like the
Dude,
Sakai maps.
Bro, that's what I'm
I like
saying.
the
Like I
music in
chose
Ilya.
Sakai, and I talked with Mecha, and Mecha was like, "No, dude, Sakai is terrible." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Let me tell you. Sit down. Let me tell you a horror story about how my cap stat Corel was surrounded by like the respawn. You know, when like the nomads come
yeah,
out of the
the
tents.
TPs.
The
the
yurts.
TPs.
Dude, he was surrounded, and I was
Yurts.
like, "Get out of town." He showed me a picture, and I was like,
All right,
"Jesus."
one
He showed me a
last thing
picture.
I do want to talk
Yes.
about FE6.
Mhm.
Best speedrun game of all the Fire Emblem.
I don't really watch FE speedrunning, but I'll take your word for it.
I
Yeah.
loved watching
I'm not.
the videos where you can.
I'm
sorry,
I'm
Chaz.
not incel. Go ahead. That's what I wanted to say.
That's
No,
that's
I
all
was
have
just
to
gonna say.
Gotta.
Another thing is like I kind of didn't like that most chapters were just C's, but at the same time it's cool because like you can do like one turn warp strats and like you can really like break the game, and I thought that was like really good. It was the motivation for the
Yeah, that's what I
Or it
love
could use
about
the warp
FE6
stat, you
so
know?
much.
So let's put it
It's
above
cool. I do like
Thracia.
that.
So yeah, probably in the same place as Thracia.
Well, so anyways, people would say that fucking Fire Emblem 6 is Thracia Light.
I would put it above 3, but it's not. I don't know
FE6
anything
is
about Thracia.
I
FE6
don't-
is
I
definitely
think
more
you're-
approachable than Thracia.
I wish I played Thracia so I could like actually.
I think you're making a fundamental mistake in not only this tier list, but your life if you do that. If you do that.
All right, well, you know what, Chaz?
I definitely think they're like
People are gonna get pissed
You
off.
think
They're like
so?
the same.
Really?
I think they're fairly close as well.
Thracia just above Binding Blade.
Yeah, I can agree
Yeah.
with that.
I don't think they're close at all. I think it's no contest.
You know what, Chaz?
but-
Whatever.
Well, do you
dude.
think
know what?
we can agree that FE6 is better than Conquest or Sacred Stones, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
You think
no.
Conquest is
I
better?
agree. I like Conquest more than I like.
You know, I
FE6.
actually agree with you. I actually like Conquest better than FE6. too.
No, Speedy, stop.
But
Don't join his
this
side.
is all of us collaborating here.
No, stop bonding.
Okay, well, we'll just leave it alone. I mean, I don't agree with Sacred Stones being even
Oh, yeah.
in the discussion.
Yeah, no.
But we're
Okay,
Hey,
let's
hey,
move
Chaz,
on.
Hey Chaz, guess what?
It's optional.
oh god, playing the game is optional.
Exactly.
Hey, guess what?
Oh no.
Hold your breath. Breathing is optional, bitch. Like,
All right, let's move on to.
Do
Do you want to do the original?
No.
No.
Are we're not touching
yes,
this?
put the original.
No.
Put the-
We
Put
already
the
talked
OVA
about
in.
Put the original above Sacred
All right,
Stones.
We already
Yeah.
talked
Good.
about them.
All right, we did, but we said we'll come back to it.
Okay, we
so
did.
we're getting
Good
rid
job.
of Gaiden and the
Okay.
original. Sorry.
All right, let's do 5 guys next.
Yeah, we're getting rid of Gaiden, not the original. The original is a different game than
Five
the
Guys
other,
Shadow
the other
Dragon?
three.
What?
The Shadow Dragon.
Shadow Dragon.
It is. It's fundamentally a completely
All right, so
different
you
game.
would put it above. I'm just gonna go in order, okay? Above Shadow
well,
Dragon, right?
Chaz or Speedy.
I would put it right below Conquest, but that's not the group doesn't agree with me. I would put it up there.
I didn't
Yes.
play-
Just put it at the end to see if no one agrees. I think
Like
that's
down
yeah.
here
That's
or like up here?
at the end to see. I think at the end, yeah.
I just want to see after this
no.
video.
Put it between Echoes and Awakening. Can we please just put it between Echoes and Awakening? That's all I'm asking. You can put Genealogy in A tier. All right.
Fat chance.
If you do that.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll take it. I'll take it.
I'll
That's
give you
where I put
I'll give you
genealogy.
permission to put it in A tier.
All right, so is there anyone who's opposed
Fine,
to
don't-
putting the first game in between Awakening
We're
and
just
Echoes?
bargaining for the tier list.
Because that's what we have to do. We have to
Yeah,
bargain.
go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
Link.
Yes, they said yes.
yes,
They said yes.
yes,
They
yes,
agree.
yes,
They
yes.
agree.
Link,
Mita te cree.
Mina. Don't you have the soundboard for that?
I take.
Yeah, but I realize it's not getting recorded.
Oh.
Oh, that sucks.
So it's
It's okay.
Well, I haven't been using it too much, so it's okay.
so-
There we go.
Link,
That's what I
Link,
like to
are
see.
you okay with this, Link? Because I really don't have an opinion. Anything below this point, I don't care about.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, he agrees. He agrees. Did you hear that?
Well, okay, before I do that, that's what we're
Five
gonna
guys.
end with. But so
There we go. I win.
now we have FE4 and 3 houses.
Let's talk
for the
about Three
final
Houses
two.
because FE4 is a hot topic, right? So let's talk about Three Houses first.
Okay, 3 houses.
I
Who
think
wants to start?
I think Three Houses is a B.
Echoes Deluxe.
I think it's a B too. I think it's tied for me with Conquest.
Echoes
Like
Deluxe.
down here, above Sacred Stones.
Yeah. Above. Oh,
Well, yeah, I know
of
you.
course above
Okay, you don't
Sacred
have to
Stones.
reiterate.
It has to be above Sacred Stones.
So you would do something like this.
I think
I would. Sometimes I say to myself, I like Conquest more. Sometimes it's maddening that got me to really fall in love with the
I
game.
haven't touched maddening yet.
Honestly.
I haven't even beat 3 houses.
But I don't think that. I think that maddening is kind of a superficial difficulty. I think otherwise it's a pretty good, nice difficulty. I would probably put Conquest above it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I like Conquest a lot more than I like Three Houses. But I do adore the
Hell
game.
no.
What is
Okay.
what's your favorite
Well, Link,
route?
what?
Hell no.
Go ahead, Link or Bis, whoever wants to go first.
It's really difficult to rate a game only on gameplay because it's an amalgamation of different factors. It's game and it's story and it's characters and it's music and it's presentation and it's this journey that you build and you go on together. You can't just say, I like this gameplay more than this gameplay and that's the core of Fire Emblem and so this is better than that. Like, that's absolutely not what it is. I mean, it might be to some people, but Three Houses, sure, it has its problems, and we have the Edelgard and Dimitri fan base going at each other, tooth and neck, and probably for the next year or so.
Stop, Speedy.
And Speedy's just like, all the audience is just watching Speedy do it. No one wants to listen.
Hey, I'm
sorry.
Listen, Link.
Go ahead.
Link, I'm sorry. You're too.
Listen.
Link, you're too advanced.
I'm listening.
I can't
I'm listening.
comprehend.
I can't.
I'm talking about just how much I enjoyed the game is what I'm saying. I enjoyed my experience with Conquest more than I enjoyed my experience with hard Three Houses. I don't even think the story in Three Houses is that great, to be honest with you. And also, the story is fucking optional.
Sure.
Like I personally
What do you mean by that? Oh wait, no spoilers, please.
I personally thought
If it's a spoiler.
Yeah, the spoilers are optional.
Three Houses has a little bit of everything for everyone, but it's not gonna completely satisfy everyone. I hope that makes sense. Because I feel like
does.
as a
it's a jack of
like,
all trades.
Yeah,
but
it's a jack of all trades, but it's a master of none, and that's why I think it's just a solid B tier game. I think it has a solid cast of characters.
I can agree with that, but it's
no,
definitely not
there's
worse
one
than
thing that it
Conquest.
does master, and it's customization.
No, I don't agree with that whatsoever. I do not agree with that
really think-
whatsoever.
well-
I think the customization is so
Yes.
limited in this
Really?
game. I think you have more customization in fucking Radiant Dawn than you
agree.
do in this
I
game
agree.
for
Well,
sure.
I could agree.
This one is
The
like
class system, while it gives you so much freedom, it sucks.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
It's just
terrible.
The
class
skills are so
Okay.
underbudgeted in Three Houses. In my personal opinion, I think there are a few stellar standout skills, but I think for the most part, like 80% of the skills are so underbudgeted in power that like you're basically rating. So basically, it becomes like you just get into these best classes for numbers or like utility, and then you don't do anything else with the like other classes. You don't even dip
Okay.
into bad classes.
I retract my statement then because I haven't even gone to master classes yet. So
now that I think about it, I actually like this game more than Conquest.
Chaz is gonna flip flop.
I do.
We did it, guys. We
But
did
do
it.
you
Because-
like? Let's just compare it to FE6.
It's because this is a actual linear game with an actual concrete set of rules, and where Conquest, there's the My Castle just throws it all out the fucking window for me. That's all it is. I like that they finally found a way to make a game that's both linear and open map. It's like, how difficult was this? Just put fucking open map in normal and put every linear in hard. Like, problem fucking solved. How hard was that?
You can
Jesus
fish in this
Christ.
game.
All right,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
you're right. Oh wait, that's Conquest. Yeah, there you go.
You can feed animals.
Nah. Okay, that's all I have to say. I like the game a lot. I think it's imbalanced. I like that. And one other thing that got me thinking about it, I like it more than Conquest because of the skills being under budgeted. Because in Conquest, there were too many fucking
true.
skills that were too fucking broken, and they were just screwed about on every single enemy. So you had to check all the
No, but
enemy
that's
stats, make sure
cool.
they didn't have
You
point
gotta be
blank.
careful.
In this game, every single enemy
skills.
has great skills, but they're set, so you know
Yeah.
exactly what you're getting. You don't have to fucking cycle through all of them and make sure that you're not going to get
When you
killed
see something,
by a
you know what you're
goddamn
gonna
fucking
get.
archer.
I like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think they took the emphasis off of skills for that reason, because it just became just
like Conquest,
not about the stats and all about the
3DS games
skills.
were just about like how many fucking broken skills can I fit onto a single character, and then that like
Yeah.
I think that just kind of ruined the game. But then to me in Three Houses, the problem is they over budgeted the classes for like the quote unquote customization, because I just felt like at a certain point, yeah, my dog agrees. But
That's
at a
that's
certain
fine.
point, like you just if you're playing for efficiency, right, and not just for like fun, right, like it just becomes a numbers game by the end of the game. Yeah, and that's
I
where
could
my
argue
problem is.
that for any entry.
No, like
I feel
I think Three Houses does it more because it's like if you like, as soon as I learned Wyvern like Lord was like completely bonkers, off the walls, busted, I just try to make everyone like I could a Wyvern Lord.
Yeah, it's not bad. I don't like how armors don't really have any reason to go down them. I like the bases are really nice. The base boosts are really cool.
I really like the arts that you can learn though, like Smite, like those kind of, because I felt like I could really like. There's some really cool. I'm just saying, there's some really cool strats that you can pull off. Though.
Is the strangest one.
Drawback, like
talk about.
Drawback,
well, yeah, but Smite's blocked behind the armor plus armor like level.
I mean, I know, I know it's frowned upon.
Down,
but, hey, like new game plus.
Yeah,
new game plus.
Yeah, I guess.
I know it's frowned upon. But like,
real quick though, side note, I think we should move Thracia up to A and then move everything else down because it's getting really crowded in B, in my opinion.
Well, that's how it should be if you look at a proper bell curve.
Yeah.
Like, most of the stuff is in the middle.
I'm just afraid we're not going to have an S game.
I think because we're going to have we're going to have at least one S game, right?
Yeah,
so that's why
we are going to have one S game. That's right. We are going to have one S game. I wonder which one it is. And there's no debating it.
Well, I want to say one thing. I want to say one thing about Three Houses, though.
Yes,
I think it definitely goes over Binding Blade because, I mean, the stories in both are not that great. The characters in Binding Blade are weaker. The gameplay is arguable as to which one you prefer. I mean, I like the GBA gameplay much more in general.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what Three Houses does really, really well is it attaches you to the characters, like almost at the hip. The support conversations, there are some that are obnoxiously bad, but there are a lot that once you dive into the complexity of a character and sort of look at their support conferences, conversations, not just as one branch, but also as an amalgamation of the multiple branches, the group of the multiple branches of all these characters, you can really get some great things out of them. One of the examples is that I really, really love, might be one of my favorite characters in the game right now, is Marianne. Marianne, a lot of people vibed with Marianne early on because she looked tired and lack of sleep and all that kind of stuff, and social anxiety, and people were like, oh my god, I love Marianne. But I think Marianne is really good growth-wise because she has two paths she can grow down depending on which characters you pair her with. One, she can accept who she is and find someone who's accepting of who she is and sort of excel in her own medium. But the other one is that she grows out of that and develops more as a character and breaks out of that social anxiety that she has, her fear of herself, all that kind of stuff. And so that's not really something you've seen that much of in previous Fire Emblem games, as well as it's not just Marianne. There's a bunch of other ones. Ferdinand grows, Hubert grows. There's so many of these characters that I can just rattle off. Lorenz is insanely good as a character in terms of development. And so that's one thing that I think it stands head and heels above every single other Fire Emblem game is its cast of characters.
Okay.
Now, I do value story over characters. I always say a great story doesn't need great characters, but fantastic characters on themselves do not make a great story. And so I would dock it a little bit for that.
Is this well, I haven't finished the game, but is the story really that bad?
No, it's not bad. No, it's not bad at all.
Is it worse?
Bad. It's the best one we've gotten.
Is it worse than 6? Because 6 didn't have
it's
didn't have a
best.
strong story.
It's the best one we've gotten since Genealogy.
Right.
All right, Chaz. Okay, Chaz. tone it down a little bit.
I'm just
okay.
prepping.
So are we saying we should put Three Houses above 6?
I'm fluffer.
Yeah, I want to put it above 6 at least.
I would put above 6 too. I would put.
Let
it
me just say
above
something
6.
real quick. I haven't completed this game, as I've reiterated many times, but I do have fun playing this game. It's fun. I might just be in the honeymoon phase with it, but it doesn't really feel like a Fire Emblem game to me.
Nice 4 months of honeymoon.
Yeah,
no, that's how it should be. That's how. This is like the first time in so long that we have like a new paradigm shift in the Fire Emblem series. Like every single entry that came out under Kaga was completely different. Fire Emblem 1, then Gaiden,
yeah, so
then
vastly different.
A remake, and then fucking Genealogy, and then Thracia, and then like I said before, everything after that up until Awakening, I guess. I think Pair Up kind of is what differentiates. Maybe that's not enough to justify it being called a new paradigm shift. So I'm gonna say everything after Thracia was basically Thracia Light. was basically an evolution of the Thracia mechanics.
Yeah,
the rescue,
somewhat.
the capture, the trading, and then all of a sudden we have something that's a whole nother thing, but it's still Fire Emblem, but it's it's really stepping out. It's really stepping out. It's not something small. It's not like something small like, oh, weapons can't break this game. And
I
like,
get
you can pair up. No, it's like a completely different
I just
thing.
miss, there's just a couple things I miss, like the recruitment process. I miss being able to recruit people on maps. I don't know if that exists in this game. I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
No,
it's just
no.
mostly
I
done just in
wouldn't
the
say yes.
in the monastery.
I just wanted to say I really like how Three Houses kind of took a couple pages from like Echoes, kind of like where there's kind of a weapon triangle with breaker skills, and then there's also like the turn wheel.
Okay, I'm gonna get to that. I hate the turn wheel.
Yeah, the turn wheel.
The weapons triangle system. I like the weapons triangle system in this game a lot.
I do too. I do too. I agree.
What with skills being the essential weapon triangle?
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to
like
go
that.
about it.
I like
and they're
that.
balanced too.
Yeah, they are.
I like all axes do a lot of damage, and there's axes you can forge to offset the weight and
No, I do. I thought I would.
The constitution system, the build system in this game is my favorite so far, because strength. The problem in Thracia, when you're playing Thracia, you get a level up. Like Safi has a 20% growth in strength, I think, something
Let's go.
high for a mage. When she gets a strength level up, that does fuck all for you. It does absolutely nothing for a mage. It will never help them out. So when I get a strength level up in Thracia, I'm fucking pissed. When I get a strength level up in Thracia for, say, Lysithea, I'm happy, even because it does help her
speed,
in a
right?
way. Yeah, for her speed.
Yeah, because
for her weight, her weight.
It's similar to like the Tellius games, right? How like strength helps with
constitution.
Yeah.
It's your constitution is tied to strength, which makes sense.
Remember
That does make
Biorhythm, guys?
Biorhythm was great.
It was great.
I know earlier on I said I hate Avatar characters, but I think Byleth is one of the Avatar characters.
Byleth is my favorite. Byleth is my favorite.
Byleth
Avatar
doesn't
character.
talk.
He doesn't say shit.
One,
That's
he
why you
doesn't
like
talk,
Byleth.
and in the context of who he is, it makes sense why these kids revere him so much. To me, it didn't make sense. Like a no-namer like Chris, like Marth was sucking his dick off, and like I don't get why
Shows up.
Prom was like, Robin, you're such a fucking genius. Like take off all your clothes right now. Like I don't like I never understood that. And don't even get me started on Corn. But it makes sense in the context of Three Houses as a professor that kids like can really like look up to. Like I thought Byleth was one of the Avatar characters done correctly.
It's done well.
Byleth is my favorite Avatar out of all of them.
So
I agree.
The question is, do we move 3 houses up from this position?
Yes.
Okay, so are we putting it
I would
above
say so.
Thracia? Above Thracia. Okay.
No.
I mean, personally, I would say yes.
Okay, everyone disagrees with me. I would say no. I think Thracia is an actual fucking work of art, and this is like
I can't judge properly because, like I said,
You
I
haven't played Thracia.
I'm wasting my life away. Not playing.
Right.
I haven't played Thracia yet.
All right.
I'm a degenerate.
But
Link and
I'll,
Jay.
I'll concede that as well. And I'll put.
I could put it past Binding Blade for sure.
Yeah, I can put it past Binding Blade as well.
I'm okay with that.
something like this.
Thracia, like I can't say. So it's up to you guys, honestly.
I don't agree with it being better than Thracia. I think that Thracia is like an artistic statement, and it's like has the best balance between long-term and short-term gameplay in the series.
So something like this,
which is what it's all about.
All right. Well,
I trust Chaz. I trust
Thracia expert.
I trust Chaz. I put faith.
Link.
I'm not even a Thracia expert. Link is the Thracia guy.
Link, what do you think?
Too like.
Again, like from a gameplay perspective, sure, I agree with Chaz, but from an everything else perspective,
put 3
I
houses
think they're
above.
either on equal or 3 houses does it better, but that's just me.
I personally would put it above, but yeah.
So more people are saying above, so you should probably put it above. But people are gonna
too
fucking
nice here.
But people are gonna be mad about it. They're gonna say
What, that putting 3 houses above
I mean,
Thracia?
what people have to understand is that we just have so many opinions on how we think Fire Emblem should be played, right? So obviously there's gonna be like weird fucking picks here and there, like Shadow Dragon being below Revelations. Like I'm pretty sure someone's gonna fucking talk about that in the comment section. I already see how dare you put Shadow Dragon below Revelations.
Speedy, Speedy, you're gonna lose. Speedy, you're gonna lose so many subscribers.
Am
No, I
I?
think we're gonna
You're a brave man. Oh yeah.
Do you guys not want me to
You're
even
gonna get
post
so
this?
many dislikes. You're gonna do.
No, this is fine. This is fine.
Are you gonna watch the video and go, Blazing Sword, A tier? What are you doing?
Yeah, it's just,
Don't you know the story is bad? Mecha said so.
you have
So the
no
game
idea
is
how many
bad.
comments I get about Cyril on a daily
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah.
Gas said Cyril's good.
boy.
And I was like, I disagree with Gas.
Cyril's a good unit now, guys. Gas
Oh
said he
my
was a
God.
good
Whatever
one.
Gas says is.
All right, let's stop before I
Yeah.
get a whole entire
D.
hate brigade down my throat. Let's finish this video off.
Whatever.
D.
Okay. S.
I'm gonna say one thing. If this game is put below A tier, I'm deleting my Google account.
I think it's A.
It's
you don't have to. They'll do it for
Wait,
you.
Link, you don't have to.
not an A tier game. It's not.
I started this game with low expectations, and like, okay, I don't know if I can properly rate this game because I quit at second gen, but first gen was just so fucking good. Like, people are like, oh, the big maps, you're not gonna like the big maps. I really enjoyed the big maps. I love how there's like multiple kind of arcs taking place at once. Like the fucking chapter 3, right? You're fighting Eldigan, and then meanwhile you got like the pirates with the top right, and you got like Tail 2, and
Yeah, that's
like
so sick.
it's
I
so
love
good.
that.
And then you got
Yeah.
who's the wyvern dude? Trevant. He's showing up. Like
Yeah.
you got all this happening, and this is just one chapter. I love that kind of. I know some people don't like the big map. I love the big maps. And dude, chapter 1, Verdane. That's my jam key. No, okay, I'll stop. Right, but
That's a good. That's a good one.
but that's a bop. You know, everyone talks about that one. But it's just like and the castle too. Like when you start the chapter and you're like kind of a little castle hub. I love that. I was like, why didn't they incorporate this more? Like, I like that. I like the little castle. You can go to the arena. Thought the arena was really cool. You know, it's like you try to go as far as you can, right?
Yeah, it's a good way to test your unit's
I think there's
strength
7 stages.
Yeah.
for the rest of the game too. And there's no huge penalty for losing.
No, there isn't. Yeah,
You-
and
yeah.
and then like you get like you recruit Hole, and it's like holy shit. Like the calves are great. You need calves.
You don't.
Canto's a plus.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
I just really enjoyed Gen 1. Like, I love the characters. I loved everybody. Like, Quan is, like, one of my favorite all-time Fire Emblem characters. Him, Finn, Ethelyn. I love them. Sigurd's great. Low-key, I kind of like Midir. I really like Du. You know, great character. You know, my boy Arden. It's just, like, when Arvis, kills everybody, like, that's
Wait,
when
he
I lost.
does what?
Spoilers!
I mean, when the game takes a fall, when the dive.
Listen,
but,
I'm gonna say it right now.
he
Arvis
did nothing wrong.
did nothing wrong.
Whatever. I don't care about your propaganda, right? Right.
It's not propaganda. if
But
it's
like,
true.
okay, you know what? All right, Mister, you need to be taken down a peg. You know what?
This is-
Bis, get to the
yeah.
point.
Yeah. So
Okay.
when Arvis killed everybody, that's when I just kind of lost interest because you get to second gen, it's Seliph. You gotta avenge your dad, and Seliph wants to be like Sigurd, but I honestly lost interest right there because it's like, hey, you enjoying these toys you're playing with, like Sigurd in his castle? It's like, yeah, it's like great. Now you get to play as Seliph, and it's like, but.
So it's got the
I don't
Radiant Dawn.
It's like, no, but you can grow attachment to Seliph. You can like him and his cast. It's like, I like the old one. I want to be with them. It's like, too bad. They're gone.
I think,
okay.
I mean, bouncing off of Bis, I'm kind of on the same boat. I really like Gen 1. And just for that, I'm willing
love
to
Gen
put
1.
it up in A tier. I think Gen 1 was
Gen
solid.
1 alone,
I think Gen
it's
1
so
was so
good.
good. And on top,
I love
and
Gen 1.
you also, I feel like every Gen 1 character had something going for them. Like Lex is just trying to get Azale fucking laid, Like Lex is the man,
Hell
you
yeah.
know? And then you have Ira, who's just this really cool swords lady. I don't know,
Shannon.
but then by the time I got to Gen 2, I just felt like every kid's motivation was just revenge pretty much. Or that's how I felt it was. And so by the time I got to Gen 2, I just couldn't invest myself into the Generation 2 characters. I mean, besides a few, I guess. And
Oife powered up, dude. That mustache,
Yeah,
right? I was like, who the fuck are you? It's like, I'm Oife. How's it
and
going?
then
It's like,
it just felt like Generation 2 story was just these kids living in their parents' shadow, and they just
Yeah.
could never amount to the greatness that they were, and they're just trying to avenge them. And I just couldn't vibe with that.
Okay.
Particular.
I didn't
part of
finish the game. I couldn't finish the game. I still haven't finished Gen 2. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought that's the Gen 2. I mean, Gen 2, the focus isn't story. It's when fucking shit gets real and the game gets difficult for the first time. And it's an amalgamation of all the decisions you made in the first gen. It's almost in the same way that Radiant Dawn doesn't need a lot of character building or story for it to be impactful, because all the story building happened in Path of Radiance. All the motivation happened in Path of Radiance. It's in that same vein. And you'll have so much fun with these units that you built up that are, like I said, an amalgamation of your decisions before. They're all unique. And because the characters are going to be so unique to your playthrough, that's why the story takes a back seat. And yeah, it's just a story of revenge, really. But the gameplay ramps up. Like, this is when the speed starts becoming competitive. This is like that game. Gen 1 is fucking easy as fuck. The Gen 2 is when shit gets real. Like, it's all about the gameplay then.
I did like for Gen 2, seeing all the children and like their weapons and like the consequences of Gen 1. Like, I did like that. Now, I played blind, right? So I didn't know shit about the pair up. So I ended up with a lot of substitute units. But
Who'd you get? Do you remember who you didn't pair up?
Dude, I think Ira.
I did an all substitute run.
Bro, I'm pretty
The
sure I fucked
virgin
up with
run.
Ira. I got like fucking, what is it, Rattlebon and like.
Yeah, Radovan and I forgot her name.
They're still broken too. Lacche.
Oh well, yeah.
Radney.
Yeah. My boy Radney. Oh,
They're
my
still
God.
good. Radney and Radovan.
Oh,
yeah.
jeez. Yeah, like
That's how it goes.
All right, I'm
No,
taking a
like-
deep breath.
Yeah. No, I'm done. The floor is yours.
Yeah,
you guys. I'm gonna go grab popcorn.
but I mean,
I'll be back.
despite what I said, I still think it's a solid A tier game, and I think me and Biss are, we're just gonna step out of the spotlight here.
The floor is yours, guys. Go for it. Go
So
for it.
I've actually
Go for it.
developed an interesting idea about genealogy recently, and I used to be one of the people who rag on Gen 2 a lot, despite this being my favorite Fire Emblem game of all time, and my favorite game, period, of all time. But so Gen 1 is about your characters. Gen 2 is about the villains and everyone else. It's not about your characters, which makes it seem less interesting to the player. But you've got sort of Travant's arc and
Travant's
with like Arione and whatever Leaf's sister's name is.
What
I
about
never remember
Zane?
What her name is.
Altena.
What about Zane?
Altena.
Yeah.
And then you have
Zane.
sort of Ishtar. Zane shows up way too many times.
Because he's God, bro.
He has no eyes. Dude,
You
that
can't
guy's
take
got
him
an
out,
open-
bro.
Why the fuck don't you have eyes?
Dude, he's the best character.
Bismix Cyborg Zane picture.
Oh yeah,
ahead,
the
Link.
cyborg
Go ahead,
Zane that I
Link.
drew, dude. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, keep going.
They
Keep going. Link.
killed my theory. My theory.
Go ahead.
They killed it. Like the start of Gen 2 is not great. I agree, but you get to see like more of Lewin, who you hadn't seen too much of in Gen 1. Like, yeah, you got a little bit more, but he like matures, and obviously that's for like different spoilers reasons and whatever. He has a few interesting conversations with Seliph about sort of the ideas and visions around what is good and what is bad. And that's kind of like as if he's speaking to the player in a, this is what happened, this is the consequences, but you should also look at, both sides of the story. And then again, like I said, you have Travant, you have Ishtar and her role and how she, is attached to Julius, and she loves him so much because she knows who he was and who he can be, and this is not who he is. And then of course you have the arc of Arvis, who you don't really see very much of, but what you see of him is enough for you to go, hey, this is actually an amazing character who we thought was legitimately evil. And yeah, he's whatever, he's got his own, ups and downs and issues that I'm not going to go into, otherwise I'm going to go into an hour tirade. But it's like Gen 2 is not so much focused on your cast, whereas Gen 1 was. And Gen 2 is sort of the, like Chaz said, it's basically the result of what Gen 1 was, and it's reflecting on the people who won, not the people who lost.
Wow. S tier.
All right, well,
After that.
that's that, guys. Thanks for watching. And
No, No, I don't understand. When I played the game, I played through with like any girl I'm in a serious relationship has to play through the game, and that's like the best part is Light Inheritors, because we get to see our units, like the reveal of the child units. I guess it was like special. It's special for me and them because I'd never seen these units before, and it's just like seeing the child units. Oh my god, it's so cute, and they have their daddy's rings, and like I love that. I'd love starting over and having things go back to a basic level, but with these units that I built from the ground up, pretty much. I think redemption is a powerful tool for motivation too. Sure. Apparently, it's not enough for you guys, but like I thought it was powerful enough. Like Xenoblade Chronicles,
great game.
The story isn't on paper isn't that great, but. Okay.
It has Robin.
But it's a story that what drives it is a story of redemption, up until a point, of course. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's a really powerful tool. I think that you don't really need a powerful story. Like I said, when you got so much buildup, you've got so much backlog in your brain. That's the motivation. Is that fucking moment when LinkKing did nothing wrong, apparently.
Well, actually, to piggyback off your point, Chaz, where you're saying about how the story is better, I mentioned earlier about how Three Houses is sort of the inverse, where the characters are better than the story, and that's actually where Genealogy is here. It's like the overlying narrative of this story and world that's being built. It is enough to transcend its characters.
Specifically.
Exactly. And it's like the world is built in a way where it doesn't give a shit about you. Like, who are you? The player? We don't care. This is what's going on in our world. You like it, you like it. You don't like it, deal with it. Big whoop. And so, that's what I...
That's why Sigurd is like, despite him being basically, he's Marth, he's Ike, he's Roy, he's Leaf. He's just a guy who wants to do the right thing, and like he believes in the power of love and friendship. But in this world, the power of love and friendship doesn't get you shit. In the real world, the power of love and friendship doesn't get you shit.
Yeah.
So it's the world that like really does like he transcend the characters and dominate the story.
And no, I understand that, and I get the redemption thing, but it's just I don't think redemption is for me because, like you said, I really like the aspect of Sigurd interacting with the world. I like it when the character interacts with the world and the world doesn't give a shit about you, right? But then when I got to Gen 2, I felt that kind of interaction was lacking. And that's...
Yeah, no, it's definitely not there.
And I also don't think... This is going to be a little bit controversial because I know a lot of people like him, but I don't like Seliph like at all. I think Seliph was like...
Oh, I don't either.
I think Seliph was one of the weakest lords. Like... No, okay, not one of the weakest. We've had weaker. I had to.
Oh. I mean, he's a role. I mean, he's every lord. It's just the person who wants to do the right thing.
Yeah, but then on top of that, it's just he's in the shadow of Sigurd just so much throughout Gen 2 that it's just I felt Seliph just never came to his own. And like I know I've gotten into arguments with like WizKid Jay about it like many times, but I just don't think. I don't think Seliph is that standout of a lord, and I don't think those characters like really, because they were so focused on revenge, right? They could never really interact with the world in the same way that the Generation 1 characters did, and that's why I personally felt Gen 2 was lackluster. I think if it was like the other way around, it would have been an easy S for me. I don't know how they would have done it, but if it was the other way around, I think it's easy S. But I think just because Generation 2 is a little lacking, I think it's just a solid A tier game.
Just wait until the remake.
Story-wise, I agree with you in that one. There's a special dialogue in the game where Seliph actually like talks to the ghost of Sigurd and Deidre. And I always skip it because I think it's just so distasteful to like. I really hate it. I hate it. It's like the Disney-esque oh father, am I doing well? Yes, you still have a long ways to go. I'm proud of you. We're so proud of you. Imagine being so insecure that you have to have your fucking dead ghost father redeem your fucking actions. Like You just killed his killer.
Simba.
Like,
I'm proud of you.
anyways,
My
I hate
son.
it. And everyone, I remember doing that in the stream, and everyone in the chat was
Mad
like
at you.
freaking the flip
Yeah.
out that I was skipping it.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this shit.
Honestly,
It's so
And this
Yeah,
is why
fucking
Leaf is the
terrible.
better character than Seliph. He just straight up says, "I'm gonna choke the shit out of you, Trevon." And Trevon's like, "What the fuck?" And
Hey, like father, like
Yeah,
son.
that's- that's why Leaf is the better character. Okay, that's it from me. That's it from me. I'm taking a backseat again.
It's not about characters. It's about gameplay in this.
Hey,
one.
he gets
it's the second
He
game.
gets his badass genes from his dad, right? Come on now. Quan's the best of the three. Easy.
I can agree.
Easy.
This one tells you the story of a man with ambitions. And it shows you the beginning until the end, and it's not your main character, and that's why it's so good.
I also
the theming is amazing in this game. Sorry, keep going.
I was gonna say is I also like just
Yeah.
I love that Thracia just as one thing, I love that Thracia takes place like in between Genealogy too.
Yeah, actually during,
During,
Some of
sorry,
it,
during,
it's mo-
my bad. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually like going. It's the continuity is a spot on. If you're not talking about like stupid canon pairings, Zerk, but like you're sorry, but like besides that, if the continuity is spot on. It's really cool to be like there's actually like a video that showcases like what's going on. It highlights how there's a 1-to-1 timeline going on at the same time, and like in Thracia they talk about when the rebellion is moving, the liberation army is moving, and where they are. And Gen 2, there's something that happens. You play one of the maps that everybody hates. You're basically replaying part of a battle in Thracia, or a battle in Thracia happens
Wow.
as you're playing. Yeah.
Honestly, I need to go back. I need to finish Gen 2.
Just play Gen 2,
I
you
will.
freak.
All right, I
Don't
will.
do it. Let me tell you why. FE4
All right, Speedy.
is a
What
bad
do
game.
Alright,
you have to
Speedy's gonna
say?
say-
What do you have to say, Speedy?
Time for our daily
I'm-
dose of haterade.
This is gonna be
Oh.
bad. Okay.
No, it's okay.
Every single
can say
reason you
whatever
guys spoke about is all narrative, story, and character driven. As a game, FE4 completely fails. I'm sorry. It's like really quiet in
Okay.
here. Okay, but let me just say, I really enjoyed part 2. It's not like I hate all the story in this game. The story is great. I will give it that. The twist of your whole army being nuked, amazing, right? If I didn't get spoiled by heroes, it would probably be like my favorite plot point in any Fire Emblem game. Like the fact that they had the balls to do that, I give it props for that, okay? I didn't have a problem with Gen 2. I was actually really behind it. I was like, let's get back at this asshole for killing all these characters I loved. It gave me the motivation to use these the offspring units, let's say. And I as much of a weak character Seliph was, I kind of put myself in his shoes, like as you should, like with the protagonist, I guess. So I felt like I was getting revenge against Arvis for what he did.
It was
Okay,
Sigurd's fault, though.
Yeah. Regardless of whose fault it was, this game, it might just be because of the translation patch I played on, and because of the time it was written on. I understand there's like limitations with how much.
Which one?
I played on the
which one did
Garneth
you play?
patch, but
The Garneth patch, I like the Garneth patch. I like the Garneth patch more than Book of Holsteady. I think Book of Holsteady's patch is fucking ham-fisted in its
They're
writing.
getting creative with their patching.
I know. Holy shit.
But anyway, the story might have been cool, but the writing, it just felt so like forced. Like just like this example I always think of is like when you first meet Aideen, and then Sigurd's like, "Oh, Aideen, don't you have a long-lost sister who was abducted by pirates?" And she's just like, "Oh, yes, she disappeared, but I carry the staff with me wherever I go, just in case." It's like a lot of plot points like that. Like when Seliph and Leaf meet for the first time, it's like, "Oh, you're the son of like my father's best friend." It's like, "Oh, you are the son of my father's best friend too. Like we should be friends."
Yes.
I don't know. I felt like the writing was extremely weak, and I get that might just be because of the translation patch I was using.
No, I don't understand. I agree with you. So why is Sacred Stone so high on this list?
Sacred Stones is more fun to play. Now I'm gonna get to my problem with FE4, the gameplay. Now, Chaz, you gave me a PDF FAQ of all the mechanics in the game. They don't explain shit
Yes.
to you. I tried to go in blind, and I was so confused with how to play this game and understand what the hell was going on. It was just honestly a really alienating experience. I didn't want to continue with the game. By the time I understood all the mechanics, I really respect the bartering system. I think it's awesome. It puts weight behind your decisions on how you approach boss fights. It's like, I should try and get the kill with this guy so I could get this item on him. Managing your gold is extremely interesting. I find it like so rewarding to like properly manage your inventories with this bartering system, and it's not just this simple you could trade between people, right? It just came to this point where Sigurd basically solved all of my problems for me, and I know that you could solo the game with any character, but like once I got 50 kills on the silver sword, like it was game over. I didn't have to worry about anything. And the fact that I'm not even gonna dock the game for being a slog, because like everybody has a problem with the maps, like most people. It takes
not me.
No,
maybe not you, but
Not me.
Feeling there's only 10 chapters in the game, but you feel like you never make progression because like the chapters are so damn long. It took me like 2 hours to beat certain maps, like 2.5 maybe.
Can I interject on that?
Go ahead,
quick?
yeah.
So it's 10 chapters, and each chapter is divided into different castles, and in between each castle there's like a narrative sequence. If you think about it in terms of like basic Fire Emblem, every castle you see is like its own chapter.
It's like
you're not forced to sit through the entire thing. You can save, which you're allowed to do every
That's
turn,
my
and just
problem.
leave, and then go take a break and come back. So it's not like they're big because it fits into the narrative of the story. And if you look at the larger map of Genealogy of the Holy War, you can almost perfectly overlay every single chapter to form the entire continent. If you haven't seen that picture, I can send it to you and you can plug it in here. So
you
people
did
know what
send
I'm
it to me
talking
before,
about.
but I'm going to put it in the video.
In terms of that, like you can just divide every chapter into 3 or 4 parts. You don't have to sit through the entire thing in one go.
But it doesn't,
Like,
I just never felt rewarded in the game because of the fact that you can save at every turn. I know you could do that in Radiant Dawn too. I can't recall. Is there a mechanic like that in Radiant Dawn?
No, there is not in hard.
Okay, in
though.
hard
Wait,
they
for
take it
what?
out.
In
Right?
hard mode, you have to play through the game
What
all the
mechanic?
way through.
You
the
like
battle saves.
Battle
battle
saves?
saves. It's just like turn wheel, but less convenient, and it completely kills any sense of tension. Like I said, with echoes, and I have the same problem in Three Houses. I used my brain absolutely 0 times during the playthrough of this game. Because I could just save zero times.
Okay.
And the only times I did use my brain, it was with some bullshit mechanic with sleep stabs, which I cannot stand, by the way. I hate that. The fact that there's a spell that drops you to 1 HP. Like, it was such a frustrating experience to play that last chapter.
Hell.
I'm not gonna lie. And I know I'm just ranting at this point.
That's okay. No, keep it going.
Yeah, it's just, I felt like my brain was shut off the whole time. I didn't feel rewarded for making progression. Progression was so slow. Like, it wasn't even funny. The only things that kept me going were I wanted to get revenge, which is something, and Link. I wanted to get revenge, which is something you guys docked it for.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's only me and Biss.
It just...
Yeah, it's only...
Look,
It was
dude,
just
I don't
an
even play Fire Emblem games. Right?
It was just
My opinion
it was a
doesn't count.
slow experience. It, like I said, it didn't make me think when I was playing. It wasn't fun to play. The only thing, I heard, I don't know who said it, but I think Mecha said it. This game is more fun to plan out than to actually play. I don't know if you guys agree with that statement.
No.
Okay.
I don't agree with anything Mecha says.
Mecha!
But I'd praise it for the story and what it did and some of the mechanics it had. But other than that, this game just isn't fun to play.
That's fine.
I know Chaz and Link are gonna disagree with me on that.
Yeah, that's...
But like, it's not, and I never want to go back to it. Like, I really don't.
It really
Like,
depends
okay.
on how you want to play it. If you're going to sit down and play it in like long-term 3 to 4 hour intervals, it's not going to give you that dopamine rush of saving your map on the save title screen between every point and be like, okay, checkpoint here, checkpoint there. No, you're going to sit there and you're going to watch this war unfold on the maps for several hours at a time, because that's just how the game is. Again, it doesn't give a shit about you. It's having its own moment here, and you're just in it.
Okay.
I also think that the save system is good because it makes the game approachable. I would say it makes it so it's doable by anybody. They can get through the game if they want to. People are afraid of this game because I think it's too difficult. But at the same time, there's a rank system that if you want to play for rank, you're going to cannot rely on these battle saves. You have to play through all the way through, so you cannot just turn your brain off at all. In fact, it makes it one of the more difficult Fire Emblem
totally. I could totally see that, because there were many times I had to reset because of some bullshit. Maybe bullshit's a bad way to put. Yeah, but it's just the with like a GBA title, I'm totally fine resetting because I did not invest as much time into trying to complete a map. But if I had to reset, like you can't even save if you don't even use the midterm saves like at all. You can't even save at the castles you conquer. If you had to restart the chapter like after conquering 3 castles, like can you imagine?
That's
it'd be the worst thing ever. So it's like
bad,
just use inconvenient save states. Or just like experience like the most intense Iron Man ever.
Yeah, it's an Iron Man run. I mean, you can save between, and there you also have the Valkyrie staff.
You could bring back one character.
I mean, there's some leeway.
Yeah.
Well, you can repair it and then make.
How much does it cost? I've never actually repaired it.
Your whole
is it like
fucking
life.
All your money.
You have to give your life to save a life.
So yeah, I'm sorry if that was a rant.
I never used it either.
But
no,
I can't put this game up here with these ones because it's not fun to play. It just isn't for me.
Well, majority vote, so get the fuck.
Does everyone want to put this in A tier?
I think it's the most fun I've ever had in the game.
Okay, hot take from me. I actually don't think it's the most fun to play, but I do think it's the most fun to experience. Just as an experience.
Yeah.
Like if you really have not, if you've been blessed for some reason, obviously if you've watched this video, then you're not, but if you've been somehow blessed, like I was, to experience the entire game spoiler free, like it will smack you across the face with a baseball bat that you are not expecting and turn your head 180 degrees and now you're watching the world in reverse. Like it's crazy. And then if you for some reason are crazy enough to decide to actually dive into and analyze the characters and the world that's built and the lore that's underneath this, there's so much content here for you. And again, the replayability value, because you can do so many funky pairings that you want. There's so much in it from a gameplay perspective that you can do that it gives it a lot of different quirks. Like if you don't want to use the arena, you don't have to. If you want to like speed through maps, use Horse Emblem. If you want to, make the best children units that you want that can actually absolutely bulldoze Gen 2, you can do that. If you want to experience a kick-ass story, you can do that. It's just to me, while it may not be the best in terms of gameplay, it's definitely the best, in my opinion, in terms of story. Not the best in terms of character, but in terms of a Fire Emblem experience, it has everything at a pretty damn good level.
I can't disagree with that.
It's one of the best stories ever told in gaming.
Agree, I can't disagree.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
But speaks the truth.
But it's not even. I personally really love the gameplay. I streamed this game recently, and I had so much fun. I remember just stopping and being like, "Man, I am just having."
No, but that's the only reason you're doing that is because you've played the game before. The
first time I played it, I never played a Fire Emblem. I tried playing Path of Radiance, and I tried playing Fire Emblem 1. I did not get into it, and it wasn't until this game that I was like, and I played the game completely blind. And I think it's because I never played a Fire Emblem game before that seriously, and I didn't have these established norms in my head of what a Fire Emblem should be, or why can't I trade? Why can't I do this? Like, why is mommy crying? I don't know what.
That's a really good point, though. Like, you're right.
I had a really good time with it. I just let it happen, and I just was like enamored with the game. I never wanted.
Yeah, that's really interesting because the first time I played FE4 was I played FE7, then I played FE7 English,
Nice.
And then I played FE8, and then 6, and then at that point in time there was no Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn. So I was like, what am I gonna do? And so I went back and played FE4, and I enjoyed it. It's just, again, and then like what Link was also saying, like there's a lot of like subtle like storytelling going on. That they never really they don't outwardly say it. Like I made a video on it, like the story. Apparently I'm saying it wrong. It's like Guy Bold, whatever.
The Gay Bold.
Yeah, I call it Gay Bold. But apparently YouTube, the all-knowing YouTube, ever-wise YouTube comment section told me it's Guy Bold.
All the gay. All the gay.
The one voice actress in Faye who got paid by the hour said it this way.
You gotta say it like this.
Therefore, it's canon.
Like when I was doing research for that, and I even went to Link. I was like, dude, like there's just so many like layers to so many layers that they went to build this world, and like I really appreciate that. And then on top of that, from a gameplay perspective, I'm someone, as you know, I'm not someone who can grind through a bunch, like something at a very long time. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, I'm like you.
Unless we're playing like a fighting game, you know what I'm saying? But like I can't grind through things all at once. So I played FE4 like in short sessions, but like I went through it within like 3 weeks because and that never really felt overwhelming for me, and I felt like I was still getting rewarded for the gameplay.
All right, S tier. Oh, sorry, keep going.
I think, like, personally, for me, I understand your gripes with FE4, but I think it's because you had the luxury of experiencing basically every Fire Emblem after, and then you went back and played FE4.
It was.
I feel weird about Fire Emblem Three Houses people who like join with it, because they have such a completely different
like people who start with Three Houses. You mean?
I think they'd actually be okay with Fire Emblem 4 because they're used to that monastery in the middle that just chunks away so much time of the gameplay. Like you kind of get that in Genealogy.
Dude, I
wouldn't
love
even
the
say
so good.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say for Genealogy specifically. I would say for the entire series, they might have a problem.
They should go to Fire Emblem 7. I think that's the safest bet for anyone who's played Three Houses. Just go there. It'll help ease you into the rest of it.
I was just thinking about FE4, and like even taking your units out of the castle is a goddamn chore, man.
Nah, I like that.
You like hitting Sortie every time.
Love is.
I never had a problem with that part.
Okay,
Sortie.
Whatever. I don't care.
I think
it's not an S tier.
Hey,
I'll let you guys put it
A.
here, but I'm not letting you put it above 7 Path of Radiance or Radiant Dawn.
It definitely
it
definitely goes above 7. There's no way you're
There's
putting
no
this-
way I'm agreeing with you on that.
There's no way you're
I-
What
the
does
only-
7 do better at? What does 7 do
there's
better other than
7
gameplay? Give
That's
me
the
one.
main. That's a game. It's a game. You play the game. I play video games to play the game.
I think that it has better gameplay than all the Fire
You're
Emblems,
so biased.
honestly.
I will admit I would rather play.
I want them to make another one.
I would rather play FE7 in terms of gameplay. Like if you gave me Genealogy.
Yeah, I
and
understand.
FE7's
You're
gameplay,
ranking this
I would
so
take
high
it.
because of the story and the experience. I
It's
understand.
everything
Nah.
else. Literally everything.
That's the only
else.
thing it offers. Story and experience.
That's a lot.
It does. No, I think the game. I would argue the gameplay is better in. I like the gameplay more in Genealogy than I do in.
Why?
FE7.
I mean, it's much more.
Or
It's
regular,
much more complex.
regular.
It's
Fire
not complex
Emblem.
at all.
Yeah, it is. You kiss as many puppies as you can in 12 minutes, and I don't know what I'm saying.
We've been here for a while.
Link and I are never
I
gonna
know.
agree on anything but the absolute best Fire
All right,
Emblem
so
there
Bis
is.
and
Experience.
Jay,
What?
what do you think?
What?
What?
Oh, I've said it. I've said it
hold on,
constantly.
hold on.
I think it's A, but I think it's below FE7. But that's my personal preference. I
Okay,
think that's how I had
this-
it on my tier list too. Yeah, I put FE4 behind Radiant Dawn and FE7. But again, my tier list had FE6 at number 1. So, who am I to say?
No, that's fine.
I made the concession of putting Fire Emblem 1 on C tier. So I'll give you. We should put Path of Radiance in
Yeah, I
S
think
then.
Path of
Yes,
Radiance.
I agree.
I think we should.
I agree.
But if we put Path of Radiance in S, then we have to
Radiant
put
Dawn.
No,
put Genealogy.
no,
we have to
no,
put
no, we don't.
we have to
No,
put
we don't.
Genealogy
No, nothing. S alone. Path of Radiance. Nothing else.
Oh, that's
Okay,
gonna.
we'll put S alone with Path of Radiance, but we have
That's
to
gonna
put
cause some
Genealogy
ripples.
in front of Radiant Dawn.
There's
That's
just
it.
no way. Genealogy?
Yes.
Genealogy in front of Radiant
Yeah.
Dawn?
I'll take that.
I agree. I'll take it. I'll take it.
I can't allow this.
Oh, yeah. We take
can't
those.
allow
We
this.
take those. Okay, personally, like, this is just me, like, I ranted, but, like, this is my list, I would put Radiant Dawn lower. I'd put it in B tier, but, like, I have a whack
if
opinion.
it was my
so-
list, I would also put,
I have a
I would
whack
put Radiant
opinion,
Dawn
so-
in B, honestly.
To put Genealogy ahead of Radiant Dawn,
No.
hell yeah, I would definitely. Yes, I enjoyed Genealogy.
But
I only played
if this
first
is
gen,
if
and I
this is
enjoyed it
what
way
we're
more.
agreeing on, this is all of our brains put together.
I mean,
We'll
I
do
don't know
one
what-
last run through. Personally, I would put Genealogy in C. That's where I would place it.
Oh,
But
Can we not do one last run through? I think we're all okay with this.
are you guys? Yeah, I just want to check
Unless
if you
wanna
guys
go on for
if you
another
guys
3 hours.
if you guys see any gripes. We're not going to do like an in-depth thing, but if you see anything
Dude,
that's like completely
No,
egregious between what we
10.
agreed on.
I have one
Yeah, I
huge
know.
gripe,
Sacred Stone.
but
That's not. It's not a perfect list. Yeah, perfect. There we go.
yeah, there we go.
There
Problem
we go,
solved.
problem solved.
There we
Problem
go.
solved.
All right,
There
so
we
I
go.
think that's what we're gonna say.
Yeah, I'm content. That's good.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We all disagree with
Every,
it. but at
every
the same
single
time, we
person's
all
gonna
agree.
disagree. That's
Okay.
fine. We all have different values. We're all
Yeah.
different people. This is us attempting to put our
But,
brains together to
hey,
make a tier list.
We can all
I-
agree that Path to Radiance is S tier, right?
No, but
No.
I hope
I don't think
I
we
hope
can.
that people watching this are able, regardless of where we put it on the tier list, I hope that people watching this were able to get something out of our discussion and then sort of gravitate toward
No,
what
Link.
they enjoy
Link.
out of that.
Yeah.
No, Link. They're too busy typing in the comments right now. Right?
You're right.
Yeah,
You're
I
right.
mean, regardless, we're all gonna disagree with what we value in Fire Emblem games, right?
True.
I think for what we have here, I think it's a pretty damn good tier list.
Yeah, generally I agree
I
with
think
this.
so, too.
There's some
You guys-
big things I disagree with, but generally I agree with most of it. And I'm sure
Yeah.
every single person here has that feeling.
Yeah.
We've all made
Yeah.
concessions.
Yes.
Yep. And I just hope people that have not played Fire Emblem, like the titles that we like discussed in depth, can go back and actually play them, because all in all, I think every Fire Emblem game has something to offer.
There's no such thing
Preach.
as a bad Fire Emblem game. That's what I said before we started.
Yep.
Chaz has left the chat.
Yeah.
I'm here. What? I'm just.
He's just gonna
I'm
say
just thinking
Sacred
about my
Stones, don't
life.
worry about it. Okay.
Yeah, Sacred Stones needs to be, honestly, every game is better than Sacred Stones. Every game ever made, honestly, is better than Sacred
You're
Stones.
just gonna
Where would we? Hey,
Let's add like Final Fantasy VII in
where
there
would you
too.
put Tyrion Saga though?
Tearing Saga, the
Oh, I
first
would put
Fire
T-
Emblem game
I
you
would
should
put
play,
Tearing
obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Very accessible.
No, I would put it as a B tier. I would put it between Conquest
fair.
and
What, Tearing
and
Saga?
6. Tearing Saga. Yeah, I would put it.
That's not bad.
I would put it between
That's not bad.
Hey, we take
Conquest
that.
and 6.
We take those.
What I always like to tell people about Fire Emblem tier lists is like D tier here for me is like I enjoyed this, and S tier is I love this.
Whoa.
So like,
Hey,
there's
Speedy, play Speedy, get Melee. Super Smash Brothers Melee.
No,
That's a
okay,
good
we're
one, too.
done. We're done. All right.
That one's good, dude.
We've been here for a long
Complex
time.
story
Yeah,
with
dude.
Martha and Roy.
Thanks so much, all of you guys, for joining me for 3 hours to talk about our favorite series. Hope we made a tier list that's
Yeah.
okay. It's
No.
probably not.
It was great. It's a great tier
Everyone's
list.
gonna
If-
disagree with that.
I like my
I
favorite.
hate it.
if anyone
I like the gradients on the side of the letters.
hate
That's really good.
gradients.
Not
well,
many
Jay
tier
doesn't like
lists.
I hate gradients.
Very pleasing.
Fuck. If I had to choose a design, if I made a design tier list, gradients is my sacred stones.
Okay.
so it's average.
Damn.
What it is, my sacred stones to what it is to Chaz. Okay, there we go.
Not you.
Anyway, I
This does
I
not
hope
do- better off not existing.
watching this, you at least enjoyed the discussions we had. Whether you agree with this tier list or not, obviously, we don't even agree on this tier list, so people are going to have qualms with it. Yeah, everybody please check out JaeAIK, Bisquick Mix, Chaz Aria LLC, and
You don't have
LinkKing7.
to,
Yeah,
but-
I
I'm
don't
sure
have
everyone who
anything to
knows of me
offer.
knows about you guys. I
My
just
channel
do it as a
sucks,
courtesy.
guys. I don't play Fire Emblem.
You don't
games.
have
I'm
to
not
do
even a
that.
Fire Emblem content creator. Don't check out my channel, please.
I have sex with dogs. You don't even need to.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to
Arvis
look
did
at me.
nothing wrong.
And yeah, anything else you guys want to say before I stop my recording? I'm exhausted.
I am
Thanks
too.
to everyone who
Puppy
actually
loving.
made it this far.
Yeah.
Puppy loving. Well, it's not gonna. The goal is to edit this down to an hour to an hour and a half. I'm gonna cut out a ton of
Yeah.
stuff we talked about.
Why?
No one's
He's
gonna
gonna
sit
cut
here.
out all the
No
good
one's gonna
stuff.
sit here for 3 hours and listen to
I
us.
think you should upload both versions.
I did.
I'm not uploading.
I sat here for 3 hours.
Yeah, but
you should
You
cut it
also
up.
sat through 3 hours of supports in 3 houses, so.
Yeah. And genealogy.
That's true.
You should definitely keep most of the
You
raw
gotta-
stuff. I feel like you should put it
No,
somewhere.
you do what you want to
Put
do.
it somewhere.
I
do what you
can't
want.
make a
You-
3-hour
hey.
video.
No.
Make two versions.
Wait.
I'm gonna stop recording
Hey,
right now.
Hey,
Oh wait,
Chad,
let me say goodbye.
You gotta,
Oh, okay.
you gotta
What?
hit her.
What?
You gotta hit her raw and then yeah. I sat through like never mind. Whatever.
All right, guys,
Bye,
thanks for
guys.
watching so much. And until next time, SpeedyHawk out. Take care.
Bye, guys.
You're not gonna keep that in, are you?
Oh,
All
dude,
that
do
shit.
it. Do it. No balls, Speedy. Come on.
Okay.